Wednesday morning, Delaware Valley and beyond. Holy cow. Oh, my God. What the hell just happened? That was pretty darn cool, Amy Fadul.
It was amazing, and that's why you watch the game.
That's why you don't get apathetic. Keep watching the games. So much fun last night. So much to get into. I still am shaking my head in like disbelief.
I was shaking, like almost
You were
physically.
just shaking
yeah,
physically.
I was so excited on that post-game show. I felt like I was jumping out of my skin. And the whole final, listen, the whole final probably 3 minutes of regulation and then all of overtime, too.
Yeah, and I love hearing the stories. I'm talking to one of my boys on the way in. He taped the game, right? So he went back to watch it after the game was over. What was it? TNT split from the game?
They did.
And went somewhere else? His tape ends then.
No.
And when it ended, the Sixers were down 5 in overtime.
He
didn't see the rest. Didn't see the rest. His son had already seen the end of the game, so he filled him in on what happened. Yeah, but, didn't get to see that. My wife, Sixers down 6 with 27 seconds to go. I'm watching it with my wife and my daughter, and they are screaming, "What are you doing?" Last 2 minutes of the game, I've never heard them scream so much. 27 seconds ago, my wife gets up, goes to the bedroom. I'm done with this team. My daughter sat there. She's like, how can you be done? You know, they could do something crazy. My daughter and I watch it, and God bless her, I don't really scream all that much. She didn't really say words. She was just like, oh, my God, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I go into the bedroom, said, Sixers going to overtime. She goes, stop it. Now, you guys know me. I like to, tease, fool around a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm serious, and I'm putting my clothes away. And she goes, shut up. Like, why are you saying? She goes, look me in the eye. So I look her in the eye, and I tell her, but I, move away real quick, like I'm kidding around. And she's like, I hate when you do this. I don't know if you're telling the truth or not. So I said, well, just turn on Amy. I want to see Amy on the post-game show. Just turn on the post-game show then. So she goes, see, I knew they lost. And she turns on. She's like, oh, my bleep. You know, yeah, it was that kind of a night. Connor got up and left the bar, and people gave up in that 27 seconds. Ray didn't give up.
Nope.
Ray is a man of the people. Ray shaved the beard off last night.
I did my part. I'll be honest with you, though. I did have the season over tweet written.
No.
I sat there with 28 seconds left, and I'm like, the Knicks came back in game 2. Let me wait to fire off anything. Too frustrated until at least this offensive possession. Maxey gets the 4-point play. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to shut up. I'm just going to sit here and enjoy the end of this game.
It was so much fun to watch. Look, you saw, you know that I like to do the overview as much as I like to do the inside the game stuff. I mentioned this on the crossover aim. I mentioned it to you because I respect you and love you so much that if I say something to you and I get a look from your face, I say, no, don't say that. So I did. And this all stems from, this is how my life goes. So I told you on Sunday that I had a friend call, Embiid's a loser. And I said, no, he's not. Nope. Let's talk this out. We came away with, he's a great player, but not a winner yet. It led to more of, is this Sixers organization a winning one? That was our theme on Monday. We talked about that. Last night, Joel Embiid played poorly, very poorly. Mm-hmm. And I thought New York did a great job of coming up and doubling him from behind when he had his back to certain players on New York. They would double that way. It caused a lot of confusion. He was careless with the ball, all of that. I came away after the game with my thoughts and said, you know what? He took a step closer to being a winner in my book. He's a great player. Please understand what I'm saying. He is a great player, and I love watching him. Winner is not something that can be stamped upon him yet, in my opinion. Last night, he took a real big step in doing that when he didn't have his A game.
Yeah, when he closed out the game, and yes, he almost had a quadruple-double with those 9 turnovers, and there were 4 in the fourth quarter, and you're thinking, this is bad. We're at 48 minutes of played. He's not looked good offensively. He has crushed it on the boards. That's the positive. They really did a good job with that. But it was how he played in the crux of the game. The 2 picks to set Tyrese Maxey free on especially the game-winning 3 is so crucial. And then you go into overtime, and what he did at the very end, he's coming up with blocks, he's coming up in rebounds, and coming up with assists, and obviously points as well. But it was as if they looked at Maxey and thought, he's given us the hope. We're not going to let this kid down. Like we're not. He's willed us to this point. Everybody's in, and they all were in. Nico Batum was in. Tobias Harris, best game of the series. Not even a question on that one.
Huge shot that he hit from the foul line.
Big. Those free throws were huge, and he started off strong. Kelly Oubre with some big buckets at the end. So I just think it's one of those, they were feeding off of one another. It was a complete, you asked me yesterday, can the Sixers win a New York Knicks style of game? That was a Knicks game.
It sure was.
And they won it.
They sure
in the
did.
Garden.
So we're going to get into all the stories today, and we have a lot of them. But first, we got to see what's on the front page.
Now, the front page. The stories everyone's talking about. 97.5, The Fanatic.
That's right. Your 76ers pull out a 112-106 overtime win. It's one of the most improbable wins I've ever seen in sports. Oh, wait. Well, at least since game 2 of this series. Yeah, that's where it was. They're down 3-2 now after that 112-106 overtime win. Tyrese Maxey, 46 points in 52 minutes. The adrenaline that was going through that guy, he looked like he could have gone 52 more. Love to see it. Joel Embiid, who we talked about, and we're going to dive deep into today, 19 points, 16 rebounds, 10 assists, 9 turnovers, and played 48 minutes. Some of the gutsiest minutes you're going to see. We're going to get into that. Tobias Harris and Kelly Oubre, 19 points each, and both coming up with big baskets, both in the fourth quarter and in overtime for your 76ers. The Knicks, they scored just 57 points in the second half and overtime combined. The Sixers, I like, this is stuff that sticks out that I didn't realize in the moment. In the second half and overtime combined, the Sixers shot 25 for 45, 56%. That's clutch shooting when you need it. The Knicks, on the other hand, in the second half and overtime, just 21 for 49, 43%. Jalen Brunson went off for 40 more points, 6 assists, did have 9 turnovers, and was a -9 while he was on the floor. Josh Hart, 18 points, 9 rebounds. He played all 53 minutes, did not come off the court. All of that, we have so much to talk about today. They play again tomorrow night, for those who haven't heard, tomorrow night at 9 p.m. at the Wells Fargo Center. Not something people love, but a 9 o'clock, as Ray bangs his head on the desk, 9 o'clock start tomorrow night. I'll give you good news on it, and we talked about it a little bit. Maybe, just maybe, those New York Knicks fans who are looking to get tickets down here say, ooh, that's a little too late. I can't get a train back after, I think the last train going to New York is like 11, so they're not going to catch that. Who wants to drive back to New York at like 12:30 in the morning? So you're better off just staying home, Knicks fans, okay? Stay there. You can watch the game from the comforts of your home. Let us 76ers fans take up those seats. Tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, Game 6. You're fighting Phils. My God, you talk about having a great entree. Right, Aim? I was trying to compare the Phillies game after I watched it last night. Like, for me, after a great dinner, I love an Irish coffee. The Phillies were my Irish coffee last night.
That's an amazing finish
right?
today. Yes.
Yeah. Some people might like dessert. Maybe for you, it's a lemon meringue pie. I don't know. Are you a dessert person?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. All right. What's your favorite dessert?
It's got to be cheesecake.
All right, so the Phillies were Amy's cheesecake last night.
Delicious.
As they get a 7-5 win with 1 run in the 8th and 3 more in the 9th. Nick Castellanos went 3 for 4 last night. Love to see that. Hits a solo home run in the 9th and then sets it up that Johan Rojas, 2 batters later, hits a 2-run home run as the Phillies pull it out 7-5. Trey Turner and Alec Boehm each went 2 for 5. Why do I say that? Well, Trey Turner's now hitting 346. Alec Boehm is now hitting 366. Spencer Turnbull, 5 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts. Junior Marte got screwed. Like, if he doesn't win MVP this year, we're going to have to go back to the play that Trey Turner didn't make last night because he gets an error. The floodgates open, should have been out of the inning. It's the only way Junior Marte is going to look human. I mean, he is just so good. MVP, without a doubt. And then something like last night may just take that award away from him. I don't know. But Strom, Alvarado, and Hoffman, they come in relief, go 3 innings, combined 3 innings pitched, 2 hits, no runs, 3 strikeouts. Today, Zach Wheeler Day, which we love at the Angels. It's an afternoon start, 4:07. Okay, so you get your sports in early, Aim.
I love it.
And then you can rest up for that 9 o'clock game tomorrow night. On the national front, that is of interest to us. Milwaukee beat Indiana last night to close that series to 3-2. Indiana still has the lead in that. Had Indiana taken care of business last night, you would have had a better starting time tomorrow for your 76ers. But at this point, who cares?
Right?
Who cares? They could start at midnight for all I care.
We're locked in.
We're locked in. We'll be there. We are doing a special pregame show tomorrow night. We are going to be in the Wells Fargo Center from 6 p.m. until 9 p.m., taking you into 76ers basketball. It will be myself, Pat Egan, and D. Lynham on that. Okay, Aim. That game probably ran your gamut of emotions last night.
Yeah.
So we got to breathe. We got to relax. We got to digest all of this and talk about it in a rational fashion.
Why do we have to be rational? I don't want to be.
We don't have to do that. Nah, I'm just kidding. It was a win. That was a win that was it's huge in getting the Sixers back in the series, obviously. But the ramifications of it all. Tyrese Maxey became a leader and a go-to player last night.
I mean, stratospheric. It was an out-of-this-world type of game from him. The way that he put that team on his back, the way that he came through, and they executed it. And we talked a lot about it after Game 4. Just what are the plays? What's happening? Why does the offense look so stagnant? He is a guy that's running that, and he played 52 minutes, 52 of the 53 minutes, and he did things like that. And both those teams were gassed at the end. There was a lot of miscues, a lot of bad turnovers, a lot of I don't know what's going. But when the game came down to it, and he practices that play, that high screen that Joel Embiid sets, and he runs off of it. And they asked him about it after the game. He said, "I'm just trying to play another day." He just lives, eats, breathes basketball. He wants to do it. His will to do it. We're talking about winners, certified winner. We knew that ahead of time, certified winner.
So he makes the shot with 8 seconds to go from the logo shot. He did a Caitlin Clark. He pulled it off, makes that. The Knicks come down. Brunson has it, and, of course, everybody's holding their breath because, once again, last night, not so much as I felt it on Sunday did I feel last night like, oh, my God, this guy's getting wherever he wants to go. He was more of a pain in the ass to me by hitting shots last night.
Yes,
Even though he didn't score as many points, he was hitting shots that were more painful last night. But he gets the ball with 8 seconds to go, dribbles down, Sixers block it out of bounds, no call, time runs out. Maxey goes to the sideline and just starts, the let's bleep and go.
Oh, yeah.
Most emotion I think I've seen out of him in his 3 years here.
Yeah, he'll give you like a good fist pump or like a scream, but the continuousness of just the hyping himself up. And he said afterwards that there's a lot of things he said that his grandma probably wouldn't be real pleased with him. But listen, a game like that, down 6, 28 seconds to go, and single-handedly you start the comeback with a foul on a three-point, which is a completely head-up, unbelievable high IQ play. And then Josh Hart misses 1 of 2, and then you go back on the other end, and he hits the 3. The energy and the fuel at that point, having played almost the entire game.
Yeah.
Almost the entire game at that point. He was at the 47-minute mark, and then I think it was just feeding into it. How do you not feed off of that guy?
Exactly, and I thought one of the reasons that I say I think Joel Embiid took a step towards being that winner, that I want to throw a label on him saying he's what. Now look, understand what I'm saying. He's a great player. A great player. Not sure I can put the label of winner on him yet because of the failures that they've had in the playoffs and so on and so forth, and unfortunately the injuries that he's had to go through. What he did last night to take a back seat to Tyrese Maxey, to help Tyrese Maxey take that front seat, to set picks the way he did, to come up with rebounds, to dive on the floor. That's a dive that, like, we used to practice that in high school. Our coach would roll the ball, and we'd have to go dive against a teammate to try to get the loose ball. That was a full-on dive to get that ball.
Corral
and let's not forget the steal that he had on Jalen Brunson driving baseline. Unbelievable. I thought he was terrific last night, knowing the limitations that he had in his game. But it did all come down to Tyrese Maxey, and he talked about his mindset in the final minute of that game.
We knew we had to get some threes up. I just tried to get to a spot and raise and shoot. Thankfully, he jumped, and I didn't get my feet set right away to shoot it. So I was able to just kind of lean in and make a shot.
And what about the other one at the end of regulation?
That's just a lot of rips, going right, throwing the ball out, chasing it, and Rico been on me all year about shooting the deep ones, and I've been working on it all year, so it pays off.
I didn't pull the play-by-play that shows how many feet out he was on that shot. Like, I don't know why 38 jumped into my mind last night when he took it, but can you imagine that? Here's a guy that played as many minutes as he did. The legs had to be
35 is what the play.
35?
Yeah.
Okay. 35-footer. And, I mean, nothing but net. If a ball could have gone through without even hitting the net, that one was right there. And that was just remarkable what he did last night late in that game.
I would love to know what people – I know what I said when that happened. I know what Jim Lynam and Mark Jackson said when that happened. I want to know what you said, and I know what people – I want to know what you said. Like, when you saw him release that ball, was it bang? Like, was it like a Jay Wright, like I knew it was going in, or was it a little bit more colorful?
So the only time I ever am boisterous during a game, and I'm not right for this, is when something smart or unsmart happens.
Right, okay.
I really do. I go, oh, that was dumb. What are you doing? That's a smart play there. That was smart. I don't know why. I don't go to the – so, yeah, he shot that and hit that, and I was conscious of my reaction after my reaction was that's all. Like, I don't scream. I don't holler. I don't jump up and down.
It was kind of a stunning play, though.
It was just –
but he practiced it.
Yeah, and, when he took off taking it, I don't know how you guys felt. He takes off from the logo. Maybe it's because that's the way basketball is anymore, and I watched a ton of Caitlin Clark over the last couple of years. I no longer look at that as a bad shot.
No, it's not for a lot of players.
It's not.
They've made it a legitimate shot. You've seen Damian Lillard on the regular hit that. Obviously, Steph Curry. Those guys these are clutch players. Obviously, when you're talking about people that can hit a 35-footer with the time winding down in a game that's not tied, it's incredible.
Yeah.
But I thought the emotion that he showed was what a lot of people were feeling. Like, it was just at the end. Like, he kept playing, obviously, because he knew that they had to get back on the other end and whatever else. But that emotion that just like is exuded from him. He just couldn't contain it. He couldn't contain it.
And I talk about us running the gamut of emotions. Joel Embiid, number one, Ray. Joel Embiid, he had to run the gamut, not of emotions, but of physicality last night. He's not all there, as we know. He played poorly. I am not making excuses. But he also did a lot of things that was needed for this team to win last night. And here's his reaction to the win.
Went in our favor, thanks to Tyrese Maxey. He was unbelievable, hitting big shots after big shots, especially with everything that's going on, so lots of credit to him. Tobias was amazing, throughout the whole game. He was amazing, so, all my teammates, they did their job, and, we got the win.
I love that. He knows he wasn't good last night. He's not bitching that he wasn't good, because I think in years past that's what we would hear. Oh, I wasn't there, and I.
Yeah.
And me. No, he know, and his play showed it.
And you saw him afterwards, like he goes up to Tyrese Maxey at the very end of the game, and he just kind of like says something. You can't see because he's facing Maxey, but you can see Maxey. You can see Maxey clearly say, "I got you."
Yeah.
So I'm sure it was something like, "Hey, dude, like you picked us up." He's like, "I got you."
2 more. It was cool. I heard the audio. He goes, 2 more.
Yeah.
We got 2 more. I got you. I got you. I love that. Do you think Joel Embiid comes out of last night? It's a question I'm going to put out there for everybody. 610-632-0975. We saw how poorly Joel Embiid played last night. We saw the numbers, the 9 turnovers. We can't deny all the other things that he did, and that's 19 points, 16 rebounds, 10 assists. How do you think last night will affect Joel Embiid moving forward? Do you think he comes away with it, man, this is a team that has my back, I don't play all that well, and we still get a win, but he also took the superstar label off of himself, put it on Tyrese Maxey, and said, let me help this guy help us win this game. How does this affect Joel Embiid moving forward in your mind? 610-632-0975. You can call us. We'd love to talk to you. Anything you have on your mind about last night's game, we'd love to talk to you. Or you can text us at that same number. Amy's going to be here with us all day long today. Bob Cooney, 97.5 Middays. Welcome back on this wonderful Wednesday. It's funny, Amy was just talking about, Amy Fadul's here with us all day long. She was just talking about being in the NBC Sports Philadelphia studios last night. And, you know, with 27 seconds to go and there's a timeout and they're whatever, and they're all planning on what the funeral's going to be. As opposed to
trying to be prepared. I actually walked down. So we walked down to get, because we can go round right as soon as the game ends. Obviously, you guys do too. And I was like, no. I looked around our newsroom before I walked down, and I say, they're winning this game. I'm talking myself into it as much as anything, but I'm the positive ray of light. I said, they're winning this game. And then when I came back up, 50 minutes later after the show, I said, I told you, everyone. I told you guys. I told you. But yes, when they're down 6 with 28 seconds to go, our producer's like, all right, well, here's what we're going to do. But he was real quiet, because you just never know. When Tyrese Maxey had the ball, and then Jim Lynam had I can't use it, but he had the line of the night when Maxey hit that 3.
Well, you can use it. Use it without the what you can't say, because it's a great saying. He said, Brunson? What was it? Brunson, you got?
Oh, he said, I think he was talking to his son-in-law, and he said he didn't think he'd see a performance like what he saw Brunson from the 47, right? And he said, basically, Tyrese Maxey, hold the phone. The coach has got you.
I love that.
Hold the phone, coach.
There might have been some other words in there.
Yeah, there was some colorful ones. But he basically said, hold the phone.
10 o'clock hour, it's brought to you by Window Nation. Take advantage of Window Nation's 50% off sale on all style windows. Plus, make no down payment with no payments and no interest for 12 full months. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. So a lot of reaction going on here. It's funny when we look at our board, it tells us what the people want to talk about. We talked about the gamut of emotions. Well, we have one person that wants to praise somebody, another one that wants to doesn't trust them a little bit. But we're going to start with Dave. Dave on the cell. You're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Dave?
Good morning, Bob. Good morning, Amy. What an unbelievable game last night.
How great was that?
Unbelievable game, man. Something that I'll always remember. And well, we know it's going to be an uphill battle, but we got to win tomorrow. Let's win tomorrow and then just go from there.
What do you think about Joel Embiid at what happened last night, Dave? He didn't play all that well, as we all know. But he became the second man, and he played that role perfectly, in my eyes, in the fourth quarter and overtime. Where do you think he is moving forward? Where do you think he is moving forward in this series, Dave?
Well, where I think he is obviously becoming more mature, and he's accepting that other people are going to have to pick up, the slack if he doesn't perform. And he's been playing his heart out. And I know he's not 100%. I still do not believe he's 100% when he's out in that court. But I just think he's accepted that. He knows there's going to be players that can help him and back him up. So it's just like, Bob, here's my thing, man. This is what's going to be tough tomorrow. You got to watch his minutes tomorrow, because when they win tomorrow, there's only a day in between the last two games, meaning last night and then possibly, obviously, Saturday.
Right.
So that's going to be very important. Nick Nurse has to watch his minutes tomorrow, man. So we're going to need, and like we talked about like a week ago when I called you guys, you're going to need the bench again. So I think tomorrow is going to be another thing where you're going to need contributions from the bench.
Dave, I love it. I love you.
I love the positivity.
There's few people I like seeing more than you when I'm down at the stadiums or the arena or whatever. I got to disagree with you a little bit.
On managing the minutes?
Sorry, man. You got to break the wheels off of everybody.
Let's go. 48, 44.
Now, last night, there's about 7, I think it was, I wrote it in my notes, but that's another notebook. 7:24, I want to say, to go in the fourth quarter. And Josh Hart made a layup. And he got fouled. I said out loud, you have the play-by-play in front of you?
I do, yeah.
Okay. I said out loud, I was like, all right, call timeout, Nick Nurse. Call timeout because the momentum was shifting a little bit. You were going to get a timeout coming up in the NBA anyway. The Sixers still had 3 timeouts to go. He didn't call that timeout.
Nope.
He didn't take Joel Embiid off the court.
This is a great play. I know what you're talking about.
No, you go ahead.
So it was 77-76. 76 for the Knicks after the 2 points from Josh Hart's layup. There was a terrible turnover from Joel Embiid. Right away, timeout, Embiid out.
Yeah. It was a lazy turnover.
It was not a crisp pass. No one was getting that ball. There was a frustration on the teammates of just like what's happening. We've got stuff going our way. We can't do this. We've had so many. You could just see it. Like we're right there. The game is going our way, and you can't do that. And took him out only for a minute 15.
And there was some stoppage during that minute 15, which made it just a little bit longer, maybe a couple of right, exactly.
And then it was like, clockwise, as far as like real clock, you're probably looking at 3 minutes. I think right around there.
Yeah.
It wasn't so much to get him a breather. I think it was to get his head right. Like, listen, let's go. It's a breather, obviously, too, but it's like you need to focus. Focus, play within yourself, play within the game plan, play within the parameters that they're giving you.
Exactly.
And he came back out, and then I think it was different. It was different after that. It was a great timeout, but I was surprised he didn't call it right after Josh Hart, too. He waited until that turnover, and it was like, I got to get this guy out. He needs a break.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. Fatigue, mentally, whatever. You can't do that down the stretch.
There was a lot of things that happened in that game last night that we talked about yesterday. Talking about double teaming, trying something different on Jalen Brunson, and that was jumping out on the high pick and rolls and doubling him, and they did that an awful lot.
They did. I thought they did a really good job. And there was a lot of length on Jalen Brunson.
Yes, there was.
Especially late. You're looking at late third quarter, fourth, and into overtime. They went back to kind of the game plan from 1 and 2. Really disruptive. He couldn't make some of those assists. It also helped that it was late in the game and everybody was gassed. But that length, even when you're tired, Nico Batum and Tobias Harris and Kelly Oubre with the length on Jalen Brunson, even when you're tired, because you have such a big wingspan, it allows you a little bit of room for error, so to speak, because you have less. You have more ability to kind of miss, if you're talking about it, because you have a little bit more length, and it was very disruptive. I thought it was great. It's hard to say like it's great defense, and then you look at what Jalen Brunson did, 40 points, but he earned them. He earned those 40 points. You were never going to stop him in the way that you had. You had to limit him, and then you had to get everybody else. You had to stop everyone else, and I thought they did a really good job of that. But they just were very disruptive of Brunson late, and that showed. That's why you win the game.
And he's never been known as a great shooter, Jalen Brunson. Streaky, yes.
He's a good scorer.
He's a great scorer.
Yeah.
And last night, towards the end, he missed some shots. And the whole Knicks team did miss shots. As I said, in the second half and overtime, they shot just 42% compared to 55% from the Sixers, which is a big doing. I didn't realize the Sixers shot that well in the fourth and in overtime, as they did. Yeah, yep, Tyrese Maxey, that's what it was. A lot of the talk today is Joel Embiid and the weave. Weave, you're going to be quick. You're going to get right to your point. I know what you're going to do. You're going to be good here, Weave. What's going on? You're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Man, I'm the best, man.
All right, let's go. What do you got?
I've been around. All right, let's start out with Embiid. I think the reason why they arrested him, I think the reason why he couldn't make it to the shoot-around or whatever, the practice, is because I think they did that on purpose to give him some rest. And I think, double on that, I think tonight or Thursday night, he's going to be 100% better.
Okay. I'm with you, Weave.
Maxey carried them. There's no way a guy like Maxey could do what he does. If he's got to be one of the most shining superstars in this league.
He's getting there. Thanks, Weave. Appreciate it. He's certainly rising the ladder of superstardom in the NBA. I don't use the word superstar all that much. I say that for the greatest of all time. Like, I use that for Jordan and for those guys and all. He's a rising star in this league. He's becoming
on the biggest stage in the most famous arena in the best playoff series, right? There's other teams that are probably better in the playoffs. I think that goes without saying. But all the series, this is the best series on the biggest stage. After having Jalen Brunson do what he did, and everybody takes notice, 47 of their 97, here's a guy that single-handedly put the team on his back. And just late in the game, just shows out. I think that it's hard not to. LeBron James is tweeting about it, so everybody's locked in.
How about that?
That was amazing. And that was within like 30 seconds of him hitting the shot.
Yeah, he's right. He's right there on it. It has Andrew all excited because Andrew was on the Bring LeBron into Philadelphia bus yesterday. To me, that's conversation for the offseason.
We're not there yet.
I'll tell you what,
Thankfully.
Andrew, I thought it was a great subject. I love how Andrew approached it yesterday. That was terrific. But one other thing I wanted to mention, for all the scrutiny that's been going on so far in the series, and rightfully so, I am not denying, rightfully so, the referees were good last night.
They were good.
They were very good last night. I think the players knew how they could play. I think they knew the physicality, what could get away with and what they couldn't get away with. Even the foul on Embiid, although I don't think it was purposeful when you called it on Brunson, hitting him in the head.
Flagrant, yeah.
You have to call that.
Yeah, the league made that pretty much a real kind of concerted effort a couple years ago. Any kind of hands to the face, any kind of contact like that, whether they don't look for intent. I mean, that used to be what it was. You used to look for intent, meaning is it a basketball play, is it not? And usually it was unintentional. That was clearly unintentional. Brunson went into him. He went away.
He initiated the contact,
he went in and then went away. And so when he went away, the ball is on that side, and so he's trying to swipe at it. I don't think I bet Brunson's got a bit of a shiner because you could see the redness from where he got hit.
Oh, really? I didn't notice that.
But
okay.
I mean, that's how it was played. I think it
Playoff
was played
basketball,
across
man.
the board. I think that there was some very good calls. I think there was a couple calls that you thought, that probably could have been foul, but then it went on the other end. You thought, well, that probably could have been a foul on the Sixers. And I'll take that any day of the week.
Me too. Yeah. I'd rather sit there and say, okay, they could have called it, but they didn't. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Rather than ticky-tack stuff. Rufus in D.C., you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Rufus?
Yeah, how y'all doing?
Great. How about you?
I'm a little under the weather. Got a lot of pollen down here, so it's
hang in there, buddy.
I'm trying. So what I expect out of Joel Embiid is always a question mark. So I call him Mr. Glass. It's not if he gets hurt; it's when he gets hurt. So I'm hoping he's somewhat available. I know you guys were going back and forth earlier about one of you guys were critiquing Embiid. And to critique him doesn't mean that I'm a hater either.
Sure.
I believe he has exceptional abilities, but the best ability is availability. And my concern has always been is always something this time of year. So I'm hopeful that they win tomorrow night. It would not surprise me if they lose. Back to a point where it was argued earlier about close-out games. I think it was echoed by the other guy who said that the true closeout game, he came up short. So now he's in every game right now is a closeout game, and I'm waiting for the moment for him to come up big. I was proud that the Sixers won last night because I said to myself, if they showed up like they showed up in Boston in the seventh game last year, I'm totally done with them.
Yeah.
And finally, as a fan, I do understand, considering what the fans have done for this team and how they hung in there. I do understand why they sell them damn tickets. I do understand.
Nah, we don't want it. Rufus, thank you so much. I hope you feel better, buddy. I know allergies suck right now this year. Like Amy came in today and saw my eyes tearing up, and she goes, I know you're not sad. Are your allergies that bad?
I felt
but
bad.
anyway, the Joel Embiid is the big talk. Tyrese Maxey's the headline. Joel Embiid, though, is always going to be either the 1A story. If it's not the headline, it's right there. My question that I'm putting out to everybody today is, what he did yesterday, there was poor play, no doubt about it. He became the second fiddle last night knowing that that's all he could give, and he did a wonderful job of doing that. How do you think this affects Joel Embiid moving forward in this series? What do you expect out of him tomorrow night when the Sixers have to win another game, this time at home in Game 6 against the New York Knicks? 610-632-0975. Would love to hear from you. Let us know what you think on anything that happened in that improbable win last night. Amy Fadul is here with us all day long. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us middays. After that exciting Sixers win last night, Fadul makes me laugh. Like she's well, we just talk about stuff, and she's describing somebody that whatever, and she just casually says, "Oh yeah, she's a fluffy talker." I just started laughing.
You know
like,
what people can be? They can be.
I love that.
They give you the fluff. They
I
give
just
you
like the
fluffy.
way you talk, like a fluffy talker. You know, she's a fluffy talker.
It's descriptive, right? Because there's people that are
and
straightforward.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, and there's people that are fluffy. They give you a lot of extra fluff.
Yeah, fluffy talker.
Give me the straight stuff.
And Amy's cool too because she brought in muffins today.
I did. Well, muffins were for winners.
Muffins are for winners. We have some blueberry and chocolate.
Yeah, for variety.
And to just show you how diverse she is, not that I'm sitting here, praising Amy all that much, although it's easy to do.
You.
But Ray comes in with a piece of paper during the break and gives it to Amy, and she's like,
Which
and
is
I
rare.
Look,
It's rare because usually he's giving you paper, and that's why you're like, wait a minute, is that mine?
Well, I keep them in shape.
That's true.
But he comes and gives Amy a piece of paper, and she kind of looks sheepishly at me, and she's like, yeah, it's our pitching lineup for tonight. So Amy also coaches baseball. So there's nothing this
I help.
woman.
I'm more of a manager.
You help. Yeah, Sean is the coach, I believe.
He's one of the coaches. We have a couple of dads that do the coaches. I'm more of
Okay.
a manager. I send the emails out. I help with the lineup.
All right, that's cool.
Yeah,
I help with
I
the line. Do you make suggestions on the lineup?
Well, we've got our rotation of who our pitchers are, so
Okay.
which is nice. But I like to have it. People like to have it. We have a board that we put up on just outside the dugout for our little guys, 9-year-olds, 9 and 10, and then the coaches we like to have a printout. So people play different positions each inning. Shawnee's pitching tonight.
9? Oh, is he?
He's got 2 innings.
We got the big lefty going
That's
tonight.
right.
Yeah. 9 and 10's a good age because they're starting to really get into it. Like, I put baseball with my kids. The age was 12. Not just my kids. I noticed that at age 12 with the boys, they were either figuring out, is it too slow for me or do I want to stick with it? So they'll do it until 12. To me, the deciding age was around 12. Now, one of my boys, Bobby, stuck with it, played American Legion baseball. Phenomenal. He really worked so hard to become a good player. Our son Kyle, at 12 years old, was in an all-star game. I think got MVP of the game. We got in the car, he was a catcher, took off his catcher stuff and goes, okay, that's it, I'm done with baseball.
Oh, he retired
I swear
from
to God he did. Yeah, he's like, I'm sorry, it's just too slow for me. But what wasn't too slow for any of us was that Sixers game last night. Just phenomenal. The big headline, obviously, is Tyrese Maxey with the 46 points, the unbelievable shots that he hit at the end. But the first question that I put out to you today was, Joel Embiid had to play second fiddle last night. He did it really, really well in a game that he didn't play well. What does this mean going forward for Joel Embiid, do you think? Where is he going to be for the rest of this series? And look, you have to include, his conditioning. Where is he with his body? All of those things. I want to hear from you at 610-632-0975. What's your confidence level in Joel Embiid moving forward? I don't know if this name is it Gloria in Collingsford?
Or Luria.
Or Luria. Hello?
Hello?
Hi, is this Gloria?
No, it's Maria from Collingswood.
Maria
Oh, my God, Maria from Collingswood.
What?
On our screen, Maria, it says Luria from Collingsford.
Well,
This is one of my best
easy
friends,
mistake.
Amy Fadul.
I know, it's Maria.
This is Maria from
Collingswood.
Collingswood.
Hi, Amy. How are you?
I'm great, and I'm excited to hear from you because I see what you're going to be talking about. This is amazing.
Well, yeah, we were watching the game last night. I know my husband's been like kind of a bit of a downer. So we took a little bet, and I was rooting for the Sixers to win, of course, right?
Right.
Of course.
And we woke up this morning because we went to bed before the end of the game.
What?
And surprise, surprise. They won.
Wait, you texted me this morning, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
You didn't know the final
Wait,
score
yeah.
until this morning.
So wait, what did you think happened?
Well,
wait. At what point did you go to bed? I guess I should ask.
Right, like.
What was the score?
I think there were seconds left in the game, honestly. But he was just so frustrated. I was frustrated because he was frustrated. So I said, turn it off. I'm going to bed. So, yeah, so I won the bet. But I don't have to make any lasagna, I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. So that was
what he
the
asked for.
Chris, your husband Chris has to cook.
No. I wanted something. I wanted, like, a gift. So I got my gift. I'm getting my gift, I should say.
Are you walking to get that gift right now? It sounds like you might be.
Yeah,
Well,
you're getting your exercise
I am on
in.
a walk. I'm on a walk with my dog, Goober.
Oh, I love it.
But, yeah, so, but this is the thing. I'm totally in agreement. I think Joel Embiid needed some help.
Yeah.
And I think his teammates really pulled through. And that's what we need to see. we need these guys to kind of step up and lend the guy a hand. He's exhausted.
Yeah.
He's just.
And you sound like you're getting exhausted too, Maria. So.
All right, I'll stop walking.
All right, good luck on the rest of your walk. Thanks so much.
All right.
Love you. Be
Love
good.
you too, bud. Bye.
All right, see ya. That's my good friend Maria from Collingswood. Yeah, her. It said her husband's a Knicks fan, although I can't trust the board after what it said.
Well, I
Luria
think it
from
was
Collins.
he thought that the Sixers were going to lose. I think
so. She bet him that they were going to win, and she wound up winning the bet.
No lasagna making.
That
sounds amazing, to be honest.
I've never had Maria's lasagna. I don't.
You're not going to get it anytime soon.
No,
she won the bet.
No time soon. But
getting a gift.
You know, it is a.
I wonder how many people did that though, out of frustration.
I'll tell you what. We have Connor got up and left the bar, if I'm not mistaken. Ray, no, you stayed with it.
I stayed with it.
You had a tweet ready to go.
I had written the tweet about them losing in frustration, and I waited to hit send, and I am very grateful for that. I'm coming clean. There was a tweet written, but it was not sent. You will not get to know what it said.
There should be a line of like demarcation of when you reach maturity, because that is a mature thing to do. You realize that
I'm so glad
I should just not tweet this just yet.
One person at this station sees me as mature. I appreciate that, Amy.
It's a line.
And we do owe a lot of that Sixers performance last night to Ray.
His beard.
Because we mentioned it yesterday that maybe the Sixers needed a little rallying call, and we called for Ray to shave the beard that he had going. He sent Amy and I a text last night before the game started.
Yeah, it was. I'll be honest, I cut it pretty close to tip-off with shaving.
Yeah, I think it was
well, that's all
it was
right.
first quarter, maybe we got the text.
No, I think it was right before tip-off.
Right before tip-off,
Because I didn't want to miss any of the game, but I was like, I got to be close.
Yeah.
You know, I got to make sure this is shaved. So
Maria and Chris went to bed. My wife went to bed. She missed the last 27 seconds. I went in, and fooled with her, and that didn't sound right. I went in and said, yeah, they forced overtime. She didn't believe me, and I acted like I was lying to her. And then finally she realized it. A friend of mine, Glenn, he taped it, went to watch it, but it cut off.
That's what he gets for taping TNT.
I know. That's what I said. I'm just saying. But, a lot of people. I'm with Matt's on the line, and we'll get to you, Matt, right after we get back from the break, who turned it off. I mean, this is...
Oh, my mom was locked in. She's in North Carolina.
You can't stop watching.
She watched until the very end.
Maybe a lesson was learned last night. All right, when we get back, Matt will get to you. Want to talk more about what you expect from Joel Embiid moving further, but we also have to talk about that performance by Tyrese Maxey and exactly what you think it means moving forward in this series. Have they found the answer for those New York Knicks? This is Middays. Bob Cooney and Amy Fadul, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back, 11 o'clock hour here at 97.5 The Fanatic. Amy Fadul, our ray of sunshine, is in here with us today, along with our real Ray, Ray Dunn, who played a huge part in that Sixers win last night.
did.
He took Razor to face just before tip-off, got rid of that bad luck beard that he had been carrying around through, the West Coast, partying out in San Diego, comes home. Fadul says to him yesterday, Ray, dude, lose the beard. Not only does it look bad, it's bad luck.
That's not
So Ray,
I would never.
Pretty sure she actually said it was fine.
actually, you weren't here when she said that, but she said it. And so Ray took care of that, and here we are.
Thank you, Ray.
Game 6 tomorrow night, 9 o'clock. It's okay. It's all right.
There's more time to get ready.
It is
mentally prepared.
For those of you that like to tailgate, are you kidding me? You can almost put in a full day of work. Get down to the Wells Fargo Center. I don't know, 5:30, 6-ish.
Yeah.
You can put stuff on the grill, cook it up, or bring a hoagie or something with you, and boom, you're ready to go. Now, Aim, I have a friend. I have a friend who texted me this morning with a picture of his tickets for tomorrow night.
Great. Can he send?
My friend Kenny.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to give. It's my
Okay.
friend Kenny. And Kenny goes, yo, Bob, honest question. Is it a violation if someone has their $850 tickets up for sale at $6,000 a piece? $12K.
For 2 tickets?
I'm asking for a friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Are they boots on the ground? Like, are they
Yes.
courtside?
Yes.
I mean, then no, but yes. That's incredible.
I mean,
That's incredible.
No. We can't
You
have
can't.
Tracy Morgan flipping off Maxey inside of our own
what was
arena.
up with that?
Of all the people, well, there's a great, and it's going to be a meme, I think, Jon Stewart's face. And Jon Stewart's the
Yeah.
one that retweeted. That's where I saw it, and a lot of people had it. But of all the people, and Jon Stewart even said, it's like, Max, you're great, but like that, that sucked or whatever. But Tracy Moore, really? You're going to flip off Tyrese Maxey?
Yeah.
The smiling wonder?
Yeah, I don't.
I guess you're just angry because he was
Much
good.
weirder that it was hissed at by Ben Stiller.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was strange.
That was strange. Like that, he's not even yelling at you. He's just like teeth
Like a cat.
clenched. Like freaking out at you.
Yeah.
All-time weirdo moment for a lot of Knicks fans last night.
It was strange.
Yeah, it was
and you know
great.
what? I'm going to say it. I don't get into fandom all that much and all the side things of, side pieces of fandom. The New York Knicks fans are just like fraudulent. Like they get down in a game and they sit there.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll start cheering when you get back up again. They don't help a team at all. They're just there to react when you do well. They don't encourage you to do well. They're reactors, like real tours. They're reactors. I just think they're fraudulent. I'm sorry.
I think you're pretty spot on. They've also been, in the woodwork, and now they're out of the woodwork. You just haven't seen them. So
They don't know how to
they're
win.
out there
Screw
like,
them.
They're puffing their chest out right now. They've won 2 series in 24 years. What are we doing?
And it's funny, that did come up yesterday. Somebody, I forget what, all the conversations you have, you forget whether they're on air, if it's me and you talking
I know,
off
right.
air, if it's me and you texting each other, if it's, the 3 of us in our group text. But somebody did bring up yesterday about the pressure
Well,
that
it was,
the
it was
Knicks.
a caller. He said he
that what it
thought
was?
the Knicks had maybe more pressure, and I said, I don't know if they've got more, but they have pressure. They have not closed out a series at home since '99. They obviously haven't been there a lot. Now, that's a different team.
Right.
This team is obviously built different players, different coach, different everything. But you do wonder, there is a certain amount of pressure to close it out at home. And of course, the devil on the other side, it says like, well, they've already shown that they can win here, so what's the point? But I think there is a little. I don't know if they had more pressure, but I think they definitely had pressure in that game.
Yeah, I didn't feel they had more pressure, and I
No.
said it last night on the pregame. Like, they have 3 chances to win 1 game. So the pressure was clearly more on the Sixers last night. Sixers weren't playing with nothing to lose.
Right.
They're playing to lose their season, so that can't be a thing. But there could be pressure built up in that city because, like you said, Aim, they just haven't won it that long. All right, Ray, we were going to put up a poll, said you, during our break. Have you put up said poll? Or if not, can you tell us what the poll will be?
The poll has been put up.
Okay.
Total honesty. Did you give up hope in that final minute of Game 5? 2 options you have. Yes, it felt over. No, never lost it. Early returns on this one. 92% of people say yes, it felt over. 8% of people are lying to themselves.
Well, so we've had different reactions. And it was actually Brendan Gunn who got up from the bar and left. I said it was Connor earlier. Connor did not.
Connor just fired the season over tweet.
Yeah. And Amy told everybody they were going to win. I sat in front of the TV. I don't know what my thoughts were in my head. I just X and O too much. So I'm trying to figure out, all right, where are you doing on this play and all that stuff. Frustration level was definitely high in my house. My wife and daughter were I'm screaming like I've never heard them scream before. So there was definitely different things going on late in that game. And Matt in Levittown, he had something going on. What's up, Matt? You're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, Bob. Good morning. Thank you. So I am a huge Sixers guy. I love them like that. But when Brunson hits the jumper with whatever, like 30, 27 seconds left, whatever it was, I turned the game off. And I was thinking, I'm going to call you today and talk about how I feel that this and that should happen, blah, blah, blah. I went to bed, pouting like Embiid, like a little baby. And then I wake up this morning, I turn the radio on, and they're like, "Oh, we got tickets for Game 6." I thought they were lying. I thought they were.
Wait a minute. You literally went to bed and did not know they won?
You didn't look at your phone?
Absolutely.
You didn't look at... Holy cow.
No, I'm not one of them guys. I didn't look. I knew
You
what
turned
happened.
on the radio, and that's where you discovered. That's amazing.
Are we in 1975?
I could not believe it. I didn't believe it for like 5 minutes of my ride.
That's unbelievable. You went through his whole morning routine not knowing until he got in the car and you turned on the radio. Matt, that's the most incredible thing I've ever heard.
I literally drove to work today
I would have
watching
wrecked the car.
Highlights
Oh, my God.
of what Maxie did and how amazing it was. It was unreal.
So Deuce McBride hits the jumper with 29 seconds to go to put the Knicks up 96-90, and you turned off the TV and didn't know till this morning they won.
When he was driving
like a little baby.
in.
Absolutely. I miss the Phillies too, but that doesn't matter nearly as much.
That is nuts, Matt. That is nuts.
One more thing.
All right.
Is Tyrese Maxey the most horribly officiated player, individual in the NBA?
That's a good question, Matt. I appreciate. Thank you. And as the people out there know that listen to this show, I do have a lot of connections as far as refereeing goes in the NBA. I try not to bother them. You know, they have a job to do, and I'm not going there. I thought the officiating last night was really good. I will say this. Sometimes players are hard to read.
Yeah.
And nobody more so than a Jalen Brunson in my book. He is crafty. He gets to places that he wants to go in a awkward way, for lack of a better term. And look, as a referee, sometimes it's hard to see. Tyrese Maxey has speed and quickness, the likes of which aren't common in the NBA. So does he maybe once in a while catch referees off guard of, oh, man, I missed that because he was a blur. But I thought last night was fine.
Yeah, he gets a lot of contact. I think the one thing that you're seeing is it's the playoffs, and they actually start to call it differently leading up to. If you look at the last probably 3 weeks of the regular season, you start to I feel like they set the tone. Like, this is how we're not going to call ticky-tack fouls. We're not going to call hand fouls, little touch fouls. And when Maxey drives, he has such a knack for scoring at the rim and putting it high off the glass. We saw that work so well. But that usually means, he's going through contact, and then he falls to the ground. The assumption on our end is that there was too much contact. It just depends on how they're calling the game. And I think it wasn't called as tight, which I'm fine with. He will eventually get those calls. He is an all-star. He is a first-time all-star, and there's times where he's going to get calls, I think, more. But I thought it was called even on both sides. I think there was a lot of times where there was a couple times, I don't know, like maybe they're going to get the Sixers. Maybe one or two I had an issue with, but I wouldn't say overall I was like, oh, that was a poorly officiated game.
No, I thought last night was very good. Yeah. And you know, you have to remember the difference between Brunson and Maxey, because a lot of people have been saying, like, oh, Brunson gets the calls that Maxey doesn't. Brunson moves in a slow way. And when contact is made and I'm not saying he's slow, I'm saying the craftiness is slower. When you move in a slow way and contact is made, it's a lot easier to see, as opposed to a guy who's going as quick as he can, and it's like a blur, and boom, plays over, and you're like, whoa, what just happened there? So it is harder, I think, to see contact maybe on Maxey than it is on Jalen Brunson. All right, Ray, on the text line today, what do we have going on as far as listeners' thoughts that they are sharing with us on the text line.
All right, we got some thoughts on the game, and then we have some thoughts right now on the conversation we got into about this game being over, because someone chimed in. First-time texter saying, this segment hits right at home. Me and my son Ryder are watching the end of the game. He saw that I was completely upset. He literally turns the TV off. He says, they're going to lose, Dad. Minutes later, messages start coming in saying, Maxie, I had to turn the game back on. Sixers in 7, LOL. Let's go, from Rizzo.
I love it.
So then we got people talking about, we also got another person saying they turned off the game. I honestly turned it off when McBride hit the shot. Quickly turned it back on. Thought to myself, Maxie is doing something special. All caps, must watch. And then we got a lot of people complaining about the Maxie whistle. I think that's a big thing right now in Philadelphia for a lot of people watching last night. I'll be honest that there was a certain point in the game where I think everything about me of like, oh, there's two teams playing. I got to watch this game for, the fact of what we're going to talk about tomorrow went away, and I just went back to fan, and I'm just yelling about Maxie not getting whistles because we got Jim G checking in with the whistle.
Oh, he's one of our YouTube boys.
Yes, checking in. Andre from West Philly checking in. The one more person here, John in West Virginia checking in, all upset about Maxie not getting enough whistles.
There was one definitely down the stretch, and Maxie, he's not overly demonstrative sometimes, but he does. Listen, some guys are going to try to call for the call. They're going to put their hands up, but he was coming back, and he had just made one of those fantastic layups, and backed in that one.
If it's a play, I think you're talking about aim. Josh Hart hit him on his shoulder.
And it was early in the overtime because Jim and I wondered if they do a separate 2-minute. They do a 2-minute report at the end, and they do another one for overtime, but it's just the last 2 minutes of overtime. So it was like 4.5. So we wondered, do they do like the last 6 minutes? But they don't.
Yeah. If it's a play that we're thinking of, he's driving with his right hand. Josh Hart is on his left shoulder as Maxie's like looking to go up. It appears Hart gets him pretty solidly on the shoulder. I think Maxie got shut up and it came way short. Usually, from what I've been told in the past, a referee will look at the play and say, did it affect how he actually got the shot off? If it did not affect it, or if it didn't affect it enough, the call is not made. If they think it affected it, they might watch to see if the ball goes through the net, and they'll let it go. If they watch it and the ball does not go through the net and they think that affected it, that's why you see a lot of late whistles and the calls there. One more text, right? I'm sorry, Aim. Go ahead.
It's the 4:12 mark. You're right. It was the missed driving layup. Or jump shot.
Okay. Ray, you got one more text?
Yes. Ish in South Philly checking in. When Maxie took that shot, do you remember that Penny Hardaway commercial when everything goes in slow motion and there's so many things happening in the background? That's how I felt. Sixers in 7.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I usually do look around at different things. I'm weird. Like, I'll look at a picture in a newspaper, Aim. I look at all the surrounding things first, and then I look at the actual picture. When a shot like that goes up, usually I'm looking around to see what's going on the floor. No, my eyes were on the ball the whole time.
Yeah.
That's how I took that in. Were you taught as a player that when you shoot to keep your eye on the basket and not watch the ball?
Of course.
It would shock me how many people actually do that, though.
Well, no, the natural
when I
thing,
took a
you
jumper,
have to look
I would
at the
look
ball.
up at the ball. Yeah.
Of course you look at the ball.
Yeah, right. And when there's an eclipse, you take a glance at the sun.
You have to glance at
you
the sun.
You have to. It's not even a thing. Alan on the cell. You're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Alan?
Oh, man.
What's the matter? You all right?
I never call out another caller, but turn the game off is a major violation. I mean, you can't turn the game off. You got to stick it out.
I got to tell you, Alan, what surprises me even more, and I'll give you your time, what surprises me even more is, how did he not check his phone during the night? I watched the end of the Phillies game last night, went to sleep, and then woke up again to make sure I didn't dream of what I watched on the Phillies game.
It's remarkable.
Listen,
crazy.
I so much love the Sixers, and I've been around a long time. I'm older than most of you, and I've been through a lot of heartbreaks. I hate to tell you this. My wife, I love my wife. She knows zilch about basketball. But she said, I told your producer, she said a couple of weeks ago, at the beginning of this series, she says, I know I don't know anything about basketball, but I'm telling you now, it's Knicks in 6. So my heart is sinking because I'm afraid that her crazy prediction could come true tomorrow night. And that I'm going to be there and witness a heartbreak instead of a let's get to a Game 7. But I want this Game 7 so bad. So bad. I'm not going to give you any of the analysis about why the Sixers will win the game or lose the game.
I just got a bad feel because of my wife's prediction. She's usually pretty good about these things, even though she doesn't know anything about sports.
All right. Well, we have to. I don't know. Alan, do you have a beard?
A beard?
Yeah.
No, I used to have a mustache, but I have never had a beard. How'd that come up?
I was just going to say we have to somehow
It's
get
a
rid of that
mojo.
jinx that your wife has put on the Sixers. Maybe how about if you grow a beard from now until tomorrow? Grow a beard, Alan. That'll erase your
Reverse
wife's
it.
No,
jinx.
the only thing we can do is if she watches the last minute of a game, sometimes we win. But I'm retired, but she works Friday, and she's not going to be staying up till.
Okay.
You got to make her stay up, Alan. Make her stay up. Thanks for the call, buddy. Appreciate it. I almost said, "Does your wife have a beard?" That's what Ray said in my ear. Ask him if his wife has a beard. So I was like, "No, I'm not going to do that."
Not
Ray.
dragging
Thanks
me down
anyway.
there. No.
That's
Nope.
bad. You're just It's funny the little things like I got to admit. So last night my wife is up. So we have 2 chairs that face the television and then a couch on one side that's on the side of the television. My wife thinks that she has this chair, one of them's hers. Like they're both connected reclining chairs.
Mm-hmm.
So she thinks one's hers and the other one's mine. She just sits in mine, really, is what it is, until she goes to bed. And then I jump into that one. So she's there. She gets up and leaves. Game's over. I jump in that chair. Look what happens.
I mean, that has to happen.
I'm kind of thinking,
Not kinda.
I'll probably stay at the game, though, tomorrow night. So I won't be home. But,
Well, then she can't sit in that chair.
No, she can't.
Your daughter or
It's
somebody
9
has-
o'clock. Tomorrow night she'll be watching in the bedroom anyway.
Oh,
And
there
that's
you
where
go.
she
Well,
was.
that's where she watched.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, right. That's what.
That's
That's
good.
where she didn't watch.
That's true.
Yeah, she
That's where
didn't
she
even
was
put on
to turn on to see the
TV.
comeback.
Do you have any little?
Oh yeah, I'm really weird by that.
Are
and
you really?
And I come from a line of superstitious people. Like my mom, she watches. We'll be watching a game, and if we're watching on the big television and they're not winning, she'll switch televisions and go to a smaller television, like in the bedroom or the kitchen or wherever. There's another one, and if they start winning, whoever it is we're watching, they start winning. We're locked into that tiny television. Doesn't matter. There's a 60, whatever. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I don't drink caffeine. I don't drink coffee.
That's probably good for you.
Yeah, you know me. I'm high energy anyway.
Yeah.
I don't sleep. I'm going on an empty
And you're
all
not
the
a fluffy
time.
talker.
I don't. I'm straight. I'm a
Right,
straight
you're
shooter.
straightforward.
So I don't drink a lot of caffeine. I don't drink. I kind of cut out soda a while ago. I'll have a soda every now and again. Sometimes I'll have a tea, but I'm not a big caffeine drinker. And I needed some for the Heat elimination game or the play-in game or whatever
Right.
you want to call it. And I had never heard of these. There's certain drinks, they're called Celsius. I'd never heard of those. And I thought, oh, well, these look good. They had like a 2-for-1 at the Wawa. And I got 2 of them. Apparently, it's like having like 5 cups of coffee. Or
Oh, my
something.
God.
no.
It's like crazy. I had 2 of them.
Oh, no.
And I had it in like a 3-hour span. And I
Who
was
was
like,
with you?
I was at work. It was during it's the play-in game.
God.
Oh,
So
man.
I'd never heard of it. So
Yeah.
people are like, what's wrong with her? So I'm hyped anyway. I'm always kind of a very high energy person. And so everybody's like, what's wrong? So yesterday I was at Wawa. I try to pick up a chicken noodle soup for Jim on my way in. And sometimes I pick up something myself. But he gets a soup. That's what we do. That's our thing.
Right.
And I look over to the case and I picked up a Celsius. I got 1 though. And that's only like 2.5 cups of coffee. So it was better.
Only.
And I had it earlier. So I wasn't completely I had it like before halftime. But now I realize my body's just going to have to, I just have to take one for the team. I need to get caffeine
Yeah.
on Thursday.
Okay. Yeah. Don't
Not
be
2.
careful. We're here.
Not 2.
You're fine. You're fine at 10
I haven't-
o'clock in the morning.
So you think
Don't change.
I haven't had a single drop of caffeine.
Yeah, I don't know if caffeine affects me or not. Although earlier this week, now mind
But
you,
you've had it so much?
Ray is 24. I didn't start drinking coffee until the day my daughter was born. Our 4th child was born. My wife, it was funny. We had all of our kids, and it just turned out that I was up because of work. When my wife went into labor and had the kids, every kid I was up for like 48 straight hours because of all that, whatever. So we had our daughter. I went straight to go get our son take him to school, pick him up from school, whatever it was, our son Kyle. Brought him to the hospital. I'm dog tired. He's meeting his little sister for the first time. You know how cute that is. And they bring my wife her breakfast. And she's like, I don't want anything or whatever. And there was a cup of coffee there. And I was like, I am so tired. I'm going to drink that. So now I do have a cup of coffee every morning before the show. But I don't know if it affects me as far as.
That's a long term, like adrenaline. Like you've already been affected by it. I think that's probably worn off. Now it's just kind of you just need that.
I hope I don't need it because I hate to feel like I need it. But I did get from Ray earlier this week one of these. And for those that aren't on YouTube, and hi to all of our YouTube friends out there, love you guys. I got one of the
Calm down?
like calm down gestures in his hand the other day, and part of me, I'll say maybe 65% of me wanted to go in there and punch him in the face.
No.
And the other part said, okay, I'm going to listen to him because he's a fine young gentleman.
That doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
You would never hit him.
No, I would
Never.
never do that.
No,
No,
Never.
I love
now that
me
I know
my
that,
Ray.
I will never give that calm down
Exactly.
to
No. I told you, I appreciate it. You can do anything,
You might
Ray.
appreciate it, but I appreciate
You
my
have
safety.
been-
You
You
guys
have
can
been
tell
earning
me,
my trust.
You can tell me to go ahead and just simmer down.
No,
You
not
need me
at
to
all.
simmer down.
All right, when we get back, I want to look more into the clutchness that was Tyrese Maxey last night. Get this in your head real quick. What other clutch performances like that have we seen in Philadelphia sports? Now, we have to look at if you're talking about clutch, you also have to talk about the moment. Yeah, we've seen T.J. McConnell once hit a jump shot against the New York Knicks that won a regular season game. I teased him saying, you would have rather hit the game-winning three-pointer in the state championship than just win an NBA game. He and I keep fighting. We still fight about that. But think of other clutchness that you've seen from a Philadelphia athlete through the years, and where does this kind of rank with it? Because last night was special. We'll go over what he did exactly when we get back here. This is Middays. Amy Fadul is here all day long. I'm Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back. Middays, 11:30 here at the Fanatic. After an unbelievable Sixers win last night. We're talking about Tyrese Maxey and the clutchness of what he was. 17 points in the fourth quarter, 6 more in the overtime. He hits a 4-point play with 20 seconds to go. He comes back after cutting it to 2. A 6-point lead, cuts to 2 with a 4-point play. Josh Hart then, I'm sorry, I don't say this lightly, I think he choked on one of the foul shots.
I was left really short.
Really, really short. And he's had a phenomenal series, as we've known. His shooting has really dipped off. It's gone back to where it should be. But, yeah, he missed that first free throw when the Sixers fouled him with about 15 to go and makes the second, puts the Knicks up 3. Sixers inbound the ball. Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid gives the ball to Maxey and sets a pick around half court. A nice pick that Maxey can come off of. Wide open, but 35 feet out at the logo and bangs it with 8 seconds to go. The Knicks come down. They can't get a shot off. Jalen Brunson gets blocked out of bounds. Clock goes off. Overtime. Tyrese Maxey, that was some of the most clutch play in any sport in Philadelphia that I've ever seen.
I mean, he scored 7 points in 17 seconds.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
That's
like Reggie
pretty
Miller
good.
stuff.
Yeah, he didn't give the choke sign.
No.
But you wonder how many people in New York, that's funny you just said that. I didn't think of this. You wonder how many people in New York, maybe Spike was going, oh, my God, is this another Reggie Miller?
Yeah, of a certain age, they had to have a little,
that was
like...
early 90s.
Yeah, there's a little diciness. Obviously, Reggie Miller, he did it right then he did the choke sign, I think pretty much to the crowd and Spike Lee in particular.
Yes, exactly.
But Maxey just was fired up, firing off language and just, fist pumping and everything else, which I think was just, but they were stunned. They were absolutely stunned. I don't think that anybody predicted that kid would go out there, 23 years of age, really coming into his own this year, first-time All-Star, and scored 7 points in the crux of the game, 17 seconds.
Yeah, do you guys have something in your mind? I'll give you mine first. Do you have something in your mind of clutch Philly performances? Now, the one that jumped into my mind first didn't even include a win, and there was a play there that was bad, but I thought that Jalen Hurts was really clutch in the Super Bowl. They didn't win, and he had the fumble that may have cost them the game. But that was a big spotlight for a kid, having his first really good year in the NFL. I thought he was pretty clutch in that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But clutch usually means you win and do something to help you win. What's yours, Aim?
The first one that I thought of was Bryce Harper, Bedlam at the Bank.
I went there also, but I also went to somebody else. What do you got, Ray?
Yeah, I would go with that. And, of course, if we're going to bring up that run, Reese Hoskins multiple different times.
That's the clutchness I was going towards, the bat spike.
For different reasons, because Reese had been much maligned, especially in that series and overall, and I think it was very, kind of cathartic. He did it. Bryce Harper is a guy that just rises to the occasion. He has a lot of pressure on him to continue to rise to that occasion to me. I know he's expected to be the winner and do that, but those expectations don't mean they're always going to be met. And Reese is a good one too, just for different reasons. I think those are both equal. That's recency, obviously. I think that we're thinking about. You can go back. I know there's people they're gonna harken back to the '80s and stuff. But.
I'll take you back to another Phillies run, and it's someone that we saw on television last night.
Oh, J-Roll.
Jimmy Rollins, 2009 double. I mean, that's another
Huge.
one. Things that get you a pennant, I think, are
pretty
clutch. I think that works for me.
We have to go to. Also, I'll go Jake Elliott, Game 3, his first game with the Eagles, hitting that 62-yarder against the Giants. That with no time left.
That's a tone setter.
They could have gone to 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's a tone setter.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a big.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Keep with that season, Brandon Graham.
Yeah, that was a clutch play, getting that strip sack.
I was gonna say there's a lot of clutch plays. I think in that super.
Game.
There's people that needed to do their role in a particular way in order for it to happen.
Right.
The strip sack obviously comes to mind, but there's a lot of different little microcosms of that game.
Yeah, the bigger the moment, you're going to find clutchness. You can just make a good play and people will call it clutch.
Because it could have gone the other way.
You were clutch in the state championship field hockey game. You had 4 goals and you guys won 5-1.
Regionals. We were in regionals.
Regionals. You were clutch.
We lost in states. It was not clutch. I'm a vocal leader.
Ray won the state championship in cross country. He was clutch.
Yeah, I mean, if you eliminate
running a
everyone else,
sub-3
I did.
minute mile,
Yep.
a 4-minute mile, I should say.
No, sub-3. I'll take sub-3.
That's like,
Sub-3.
but this
Works
is
for
stuff
me.
like that people, when we're all sitting there and playing, we're playing in our driveway. The clock is counting down in your mind. Everyone's done that. He got to do that. He got to do that. Like, that's incredible. It's so much fun to see a guy that's worked as hard as he does, gets up early. He's always in the gym. To have that moment. Everybody wants that moment across sports, and I think you've seen that. The ones we're talking about, I think we all went to baseball and football when you think about just how exciting it was. You can go to the 2010 Flyers run for some. They were down 3-1 in the series, and they were down in that game.
3-1.
And Simone Gagne, huge goal. Like
exactly.
There's
Boston
some
Bruins.
huge moments that they're just like that. The season's on the line, and to come through in that way, it's not just the performance, but it's the scenario in which the performance is happening.
And the guy that got to call that right here on 97.5 The Fanatic last night, Tom McGinnis, will be joining us at, 1 o'clock today or noon?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock today. Tom's going to, I should know since I made the schedule. But anyway, Tom will be joining us at 1 o'clock today to tell us about that call. But think about it. This Tyrese Maxey moment, clutch moments from last night, man, it's got to be in the hierarchy of Philadelphia sports. Where does it rank for you? Wayne and Yardley, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's going on, Wayne?
Hey, great show. The immediate clutch moment that came to mind for me was Andrew Toney back in 1982, Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Sixers had blown a 3-1 lead the previous year and lost Game 7. But in this Game 7, 1982, Andrew came up in a big way, scored 32, and the Sixers eclipsed the Celtics ghosts of the past. Unfortunately, they didn't win the championship that year. Took another year to get that done, but that was ultra clutch by the Boston Strangler.
The Boston Strangler. Wayne, thanks so much for the call. Appreciate that.
That's a good one.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that have no idea who Andrew Toney was. It was funny. When you're growing up, you try to emulate, obviously, people in sports. I wore number 10 because Maurice Cheeks was my favorite player, and I always wanted to be that guard who kept his head down and, made the other people, try to make the other people look better if you could. But Andrew Toney, for those who didn't know, he had a first step that still to this day was such a killer. He would plant his left foot, and he could go really wide with his right foot, and he could beat you off the dribble. He could step back, and he was one of the greatest shooters you'll ever see. He was cut short by injury. He had feet problems, which I think, talking to guys through the years, and I don't know if it was Andrew that I talked to, but it was talking to guys through the years. Guys back then had a lot of feet problems. Doug Collins had feet problems and knee problems that, what's-his-face, Bill Walton had. A lot of those guys from the olden days, they equate it to their hips. Like in later in life,
Do you
when
think it
they
started with their shoes? Like just
I don't know, and I forget who I was talking to about
if your
this.
feet and your knees are off, then your hips are going to be misaligned.
Exactly, and it might have been Doug Collins that I was talking to about it. That he said a lot of the guys, because he found out he had knee and feet problem, and he found out it was because his hips were misaligned.
Interesting.
And it was something, I don't know if it was something from back in that day or whatever, but yeah, just something interesting. But we're talking about Tyrese Maxey and the clutchness that you saw last night. Does it compare to anything you've ever seen before? And what did it mean to you? Like watching him last night, yeah, where it takes you to a Game 6, but where does it take you as far as watching this kid for his career moving forward? David in Philly, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Dave? Dave?
I don't think Dave's there.
I don't think he is either because it's, oh, man, Dave, if that was you, call on back.
Yeah,
Sorry about
we tried
that.
Twice.
Yeah, we tried, but we have some more people on the text hotline that checked in, Ray, that we want to get to right now.
Yeah, these days are awesome because we get like the experience of how you watched it, especially with the way it ended. We got another person checking in with the way that they may or may not have quit on the game, and they didn't quit on the game specifically. Texter says, I was watching the game with my folks. My dad quit on us and said it's over. I said, no, it's not. Believe in the young bull. He's the franchise, and look what happened. So another nice family that was split on whether or not this game was over.
Wow. And that's tough going against a parental unit and say, no, you keep that TV on, you.
Well, it's not tough because that kid now gets to say,
Yeah.
told you so.
Now he rolls the TV.
Exactly. Told you so, Dad.
Yeah, Dad, I'm sitting here.
Yeah.
You go find a seat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We got 2 texts specifically for Amy. The only thing better than Maxie's magnificence last night was how juiced Amy was on the post game. Go Sixers.
Honestly, I was like I was so excited. And I think at one point I just said, and I know you try to be, you're the media, but I was so invested in that game. I felt like I played in it. I was so jazzed. I was beyond excited for that game.
Ray was watching you from the comforts of his home, and he was going like this.
Calm down.
Calm down. Giving the calm down sign.
There was no calm in my living room.
Thank you, texters, because I was excited. You got to match that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got some clutch moments that we get to after the break, but one more for Amy here. And tell Amy to try the Grape Rush Celsius. It's delicious.
Oh,
Go
okay,
Sixers.
all
Eddie
right.
in Annapolis wants you to make sure that there's some good Celsius options out there for you.
It was delicious.
Can the people around you tell, like you said, somebody said to you, what's up with you? But
It was when I had the 2. That was too much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not normal because I'm kind of like a generally not hyper. Hyper's a little too much. I'm an excitable person. And when I watch sports, I'm an excitable person.
Yeah, I would call you generally.
I'm a happy person. I'm a positive person.
You're happy. You're positive. You're
Try to
hyper kind of comes off as
negative. I'm not hyped.
No, you're energetic.
Yeah, that's better.
How do you like that?
Yeah, but people, I think they noticed it was the Heat game because I was a little bit more jazzed than normal.
Tomorrow night we're going to get to the arena, do our pregame show. Amy's going to be running around tracks on the concourse. I do that a lot of times when I used to cover Sixers games.
Yeah.
I would get there early.
It's nice to walk around there, actually.
And I would do laps around the concourse.
I'll come and say hi for you guys on Thursday tomorrow.
That we were absolutely going to ask you to do that. Yeah. So tomorrow night from 6 o'clock to 9. Pat Egan, D. Lynham, and myself, we were doing a Sixers pregame show to lead you into the game. And I already talked about it with some of the higher-ups here, shall we say, before we came onto the show, that I'm going to try to go pick some people out to come on up and say hello during our pregame. And, Amy, you're already penciled in.
All right, good.
Yeah,
I'll be there.
So we'll check that out. All right, when we get back, let's dive deeper into this Sixers game. Where are you right now? That's a hell of a win. And I think differently, I know, than a lot. We all think differently from each other. But it couldn't have been 3 innings into the Phillies game last night after the Sixers were over where I was like, okay, time to move on. Like seriously. And I don't like that I do that. But I'm wondering in my head, where are the players right now? Where is the head coach right now? Do you let them bask in this for the ride home from New York? Or do you talk to them in the locker room and say, yo, we're down 3-2. We got to win the next 2. Tyrese Maxey said it to Joel Embiid after the game, right after the game. We got to get 2 more. I got you. We got to get 2 more. You got to get to 2 more. But where are you right now as far as this series goes? It's easy to be positive, but you have to win 2 in a row. You still have to win 2 in a row. 610-632-0975. Let us know your thoughts. Give us a call. I'd love to talk to you. Or you can send a text into the text hotline. Amy Fadul's here with us today. I am Bob Cooney. Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back to Midday Shows as we approach the noon hour. 11 o'clock hour is brought to you by Golden Nugget Jewelers, where Philly gets engaged. Tom McGinnis will be joining us at 1 o'clock. Love to hear Kate Scott. Love to hear Tom McGinnis when their calls, on
so much energy.
Oh, it's I always listen to the local broadcast, watch the locals, of course, and then, stick around for post-game show. And, yeah, you were funny last night because you could just feel you're like, this was.
I'm living and dying with that game.
Yeah, and one of the things I loved about Jimmy Lynam when you and I were talking about it off air, he's talking about Tyrese Maxey, and he kind of leans into the camera, and he goes, and they thought this kid couldn't shoot. That's why he went 22. It's just great stuff. It was a hair away from today being a bleep show because it would have been the Embiid can never come up clutch.
Right,
and
Sixers
all
can't win.
Sixers and all that. And look, if we're being honest, that could happen still. They have to win 2 in a row. But today's not the day. Today's just not the day. Hope springs eternal after a game like that last night, and Tyrese Maxey coming up with the clutch things that he did last night. Just incredible. David is back with us, so I want to get to him. David in Philly, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, guys. Sorry about that earlier. I had muted the phone a little bit, and I forgot to unmute it. But anyway,
no problem, buddy.
All right.
Appreciate you guys. I wanted to mention 3 things just real quick. Number one is I know I can't be the only one who noticed that last night was, like, if you could imagine, like, a parallel universe version of, like, how the end of Game 2 went, last night was, like, the complete flip opposite. Where, like, I know we talk about, like, basketball guys and how, they even stuff out, and usually we're talking about, like, a missed free throw after, like, a dirty foul or whatever. But, like, this last night was, like, kind of just in your face, like kind of payback for Game 2. I mean,
David, real quick, the way I opened the show today was that was one of the most improbable wins I've ever seen in my life. Well, since Game 2 of this series.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, they killed us with that DiVincenzo 3 at the end, and we killed them with a crazy, like, almost from half court Maxey 3.
That's right.
I mean, the similarities are wild. Number 2, I just wanted to say, thank you to Bias.
Yes, exactly.
Last night, give him his credit because I'm of the mindset that he should be traded. I still am because I don't believe in his consistency, but I just wanted to give him credit where credit is due. And then number 3, really quick, we're high on Game 5 right now. I get it. It was a crazy win. But let's go to Game 6 for a second.
Okay.
I called a couple days ago because, I agree with Amy and Bob. You're also of this school of thought where Jalen Brunson, he has to be in control of the tempo and the flow of the game, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, that's the key, in my opinion, to shutting the Knicks down because as long as Jalen Brunson feels like he's in control of the tempo and the flow, he's able to get the things done that he wants to get done when he needs to do them. And the Sixers' problem is that they kind of, like, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, they allow him to establish that control from the jump.
Yeah, it's a really tough thing, David. Thanks a lot. We're up against it, but he is hard to control. Period. Like, you can't. Like I said, you try to jump at him, and we brought this up yesterday, and the Sixers did try it last night. Like, I felt good about our conversation yesterday because you and I brought up a lot of things, and a lot of them came to fruition last
Defensively,
night.
what they were going to do with him, how to limit him. Even you have to go back, though, even when they did control him more. The Knicks won those games, the first 2. He was 8 for 26 and went 8 for 29, and really poor shooting. He still had like 13 and 12 assists in those games. He is affecting the game even when he's not scoring because of the control he has. You just have to limit him and then shut down literally everybody. And it is hard to say you limited him, but you did. In a 40-point game, he had a lot of mistakes down the stretch that you don't usually see from him.
Yeah.
I think that's where it was.
There was. It was the steal by Joel Embiid along the baseline when he was dribbling there, and Embiid just stripped him.
Yeah.
I mean, he went down and got the ball as it was
Literally
coming
took
off
it.
the floor, and boom, took that away. Then there was the one play to the corner where Batum, I think, was on Brunson and Embiid was on somebody. It was like a two-man game on the right side of the floor. And Brunson threw the ball, and the guy went to cut, and it just went out of bounds.
Yeah, it was like almost right in front of their bench.
And you could see the frustration of that.
The block.
Yeah, the block. There was – he's still really good and frustrating and all that. Last night, I thought he was more of a scorer than a controller of the game.
Right. I would agree with
That's
that. But
just how I felt.
I think he felt like he needed to because I think the Sixers were giving him different looks, and I thought it was a better version of what they had done in games 1 and games 2. I thought as far as the overall defense. We all know they had better rebounding. I just thought overall they put a lot more pressure on different players. You keep waiting, and I'm hoping it does not happen for some of those guys to go crazy like a Dante DiVincenzo. But that's a very short bench you saw for the Knicks. Mitchell Robinson played, and so I think that was different, and that meant Tom Thibodeau, it's either Precious Achiuwa or Mitchell Robinson. He does not play them both. So as soon as Mitchell Robinson was in, Precious Achiuwa, who was so effective in Game 4, was a DNP.
Yeah.
DNP. And the only other guy that played off the bench, Deuce McBride. That's it.
I'll tell you, I apologize. We haven't even talked about Tobias Harris.
We mentioned it.
I mentioned it at the beginning of the show, what he did and all that.
Tremendous hot start.
Tremendous hot start. A huge basket in the fourth quarter with somebody right up in his grill from the foul line that you're like, oh, yeah.
Couple of good cuts.
Great 2 big free throws in the overtime when the Sixers were kind of a little cold from the foul line. You had Maxey missing 3 altogether, 2 in a row, and then 1 of 2 another time. So Tobias Harris, some rebounds last night. That's what you need. That's exactly
Play
what
to your
you
average.
need. Exactly.
Give me what we know that you're capable of, which is your league average, what you've averaged over the season. It's not too much to ask. He knew it, and he was asked after the game, have you felt like you've deferred? And I thought he gave a very thoughtful answer.
So did I, yeah.
And I thought, he could have gone the wrong. No, he's not going to go the wrong way. If anybody's talked to him or you've heard him speak in the last 5 years, he doesn't feed into the fodder. He tries to stick up for himself where he thinks he can and whatever. He makes his crumble cookie joke. But he had a very thoughtful answer and said, I try to play in. No one's come to me and said, we want you to do this, this, and this. They want me to play within my game and myself. I don't think maybe there's 1 or 2 times where I could have shot the ball. And when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, is what he's saying. He said, but I thought I shot when I was supposed to for overall. And I thought that was a very thoughtful answer. And
so
for that game, it was true.
It absolutely was. All right, so listen, for the first 2 hours of this show, we've gone back and looked at last night, and rightfully so, because that was great. Okay, we're going to have to cross that line for the last 2 hours a little bit. We're going to have to look forward. You have to put on your logical hats here. I need you to put on your logical hats and see logically where are the Sixers going into Game 6 and where are the Knicks. All that, a whole lot more. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Hey, welcome back to the noon hour on this wonderful Wednesday. Beautiful day outside again. Going to hit about 80 degrees, I think, again today.
Absolutely.
Love
Beautiful.
it. Love being outside all the time. What do I got today? Oh, I got horseback riding today, so that's cool. I get that my son goes horseback riding on
That's
Wednesdays.
awesome.
Yeah, so I get to take him and sit out in the sun and watch him,
Enjoy the beautiful
which is
ponies.
awesome. Yeah, hopefully you have a chance to get outside today and do some fun things as we celebrate this Sixers win. As I said, kind of going to go over the line of looking back at last night and maybe move forward just a little bit. But Chris in Delaware, he had a game experience last night he wants to talk about. Chris, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Bob and friends, there is nobody who does what he does better than Tom McGinnis.
Yeah, and he'll be joining us at 1 o'clock today, Chris.
Man, there's nobody better than he. But my penance for bailing last night was not being able to listen to Tom McGinnis call that live at the end.
What did you, Chris? What did you do? Talk us through how your night went when there was 27 seconds left in the game. What did you do?
Listen, the Sixers and the Phillies, the Sixers especially, are the one team that the two teams in town that changes my mood after a game, right?
Right.
And they were just playing so horribly. You know, they were throwing the ball around, throwing it away. It just looked hopeless. And I just couldn't bear to sit there and watch and listen to those New York Animals celebrate the win. So I switched over to the Phils. Oh. And then I saw in between innings on Facebook that the Sixers had won. I was like, what? So I went back.
Oh, my God. So, wait, Chris.
Did you miss the whole thing?
Oh, my gosh. You didn't even go back to, see the to see what was going on?
Or anything?
Well, no, I found. Well, it was over, man. It was like 40 seconds left, and they were playing terribly.
That's like 15 minutes of time. Wow, that's that's impressive.
I caught
up
on the 15 minutes, on the replay. I wouldn't back immediately. Then the Phils came back and won, so I'm doubly happy. But you know what? Going forward, you were saying, I mean, what's going to happen is what's going to happen, and I'm going to be emotionally invested in it like the rest of us.
Yep.
But there's one thing that I would want to see from the universe to do, that the universe does sometimes, is just to crush those New York Animals and have them, the karma come down on them and have them blow this series. Because not yet. They got a good future, but you don't get to go into the first time in and roll through, and especially not against us. And their behavior and the vulgar chanting and everything, the universe needs to step in and squash them this year. And that's what I want to see.
Chris, I love it. I love it. Thanks for the call. Hope you have a good one. Hope you stick with the Sixers throughout the series. All right, so Aim, as Chris said, because I mentioned it before we came back from break, I said that we have to inch a little bit forward now. As great as last night was, and we want to celebrate and hug and kiss and say where we were when we decided to give up on the game and all of that. There's a Game 6 tomorrow night, and it starts at 9 o'clock, and it's here at the Wells Fargo Center. And guess what? It's another must-win game for the 76ers. I'll ask you the question first before I put it out there to everybody else to let us know how they feel at 610-632-0975. You got to breathe. You got to look at this series logically now. Last night was unbelievable, but somehow you got to push it in the back mirror. Where does this put both teams for Game 6 in your eyes, Aim?
I mean, I think both teams have a certain amount of pressure. I mean, every game's an elimination game for the Sixers, so they're in desperation mode. You have to feel that the game is on the line, your season's on the line, everything's on the line. I feel like the Knicks they have a little bit more wiggle room since they realize even if something goes wrong, they would have Game 7. But you also have to not get there. You can't even think about that. You don't want to think, oh, if we lose Game 6, like if it was the Sixers, if the Sixers were up 3-2, you do not want to have if we lose Game 6, it's okay. You don't want to have that.
No.
So I think both teams are certainly backs up against the wall. That is why Game 6 is such an interesting kind of pressure cooker, because both teams are having, a little bit of, okay, I'm looking over my shoulder, like this could go wrong for me, whether it's my season or because we're going to be forced into a Game 7. And I like that. I like the Sixers in a scenario like that. I don't know if I know enough about the Knicks to know if I like that. I know enough about Jalen Brunson to know that he'll be fine with that.
Sure.
But across the board, I don't know if I know that about the Knicks, if they could. And I learned from the Sixers in Game 5, I like what I saw.
Answer this honestly, which I know you will because you always do, and you're in the goodness that you are. Who would you rather be? What team would you rather be right now going into tomorrow night? going into what has to happen for the rest of this series. Would you rather be the New York Knicks or would you rather be the Philadelphia 76ers?
I'd rather be up 3-2.
Okay. That's the logical answer. I totally understand that.
I'd rather have the players that the Sixers have.
Well, that's what I was going to point out to you right now was not that I'm pointing it out to you because you know it full well, but the point that I wanted to make. You may have gotten you may have gotten Tobias Harris back a little bit last night.
Batum may be coming along.
Kelly Oubre has been back the last 3 games. Mm-hmm. You saw an unbelievable one-word performance. What did you call it on our Instagram for Tyrese Maxey?
Stratospheric.
You got a stratospheric, unfathomable type of game last night from Tyrese Maxey. Joel Embiid, for as poorly as he played, I said this earlier in the show, I believe that if he wants to get that winner label put on him, I think he took a step towards that last night. You don't have to play your best basketball to be a winner. Last night, in my eyes, Joel Embiid took a step towards being a winner by grabbing that secondary role, doing what he had to do in that secondary role, which was coming up with steals, block shots, rebounds, setting picks for Tyrese Maxey, and doing all those things when he was having a poor game. In that sense, for Game 6 only, and I ask this question a lot. Like, I'll ask it of my wife. We might be watching a game, and a pitcher has the bases loaded with a 1-run lead and 2 outs, and I say, who would you rather be, batter or pitcher? Like, I ask this question all the time because that's how my mind works. I'm telling you, I'm a weirdo. But I think for Game 6, would you rather be the Sixers or the Knicks?
The Sixers are at home. I want to be the Sixers.
Okay, yeah. So it's an interesting question. We have to start moving forward towards this Game 6. My question to you out there is, I don't want to put it who would you rather be because Amy just labeled it out perfectly. Those are the logical answers. But let's look logically going towards this Game 6. Do the Sixers have so much momentum that Game 6 for you is feeling really comfortable now? Or do you have in your mind those damn Knicks fans coming down and the Knicks playing really well in the Wells Fargo Center? How do you feel towards Game 6 right now? We got to put 5 behind us a little bit. Let's go to 6. How do you feel about it now? Also, Ray, a poll update on what happened last night, and also you have a good Sixers story for us.
Yeah, so we got our poll right now at 975 middays. Total honesty. Did you give up hope in that final minute of Game 5? 91% of the people saying yes. 9% of the people are full of it. We've got some good responses to it. A couple people. There's definitely the people here that have been scarred before that just kind of tried to emotionally shut themselves down. Eric at Westchester saying, I gave up hope 3 or 4 times in the second half. I had to step away before I threw my remote. We got someone gave up hope before the game began and then switched over to watch the Phillies when they were down 6 with 20 seconds left, which is where I think we found a lot of people. That takes us to a great story from the text line here. Another Chris that is admitting that they gave up. Chris at Hatboro saying, I was working DVR at the game, so I'm assuming tried to avoid seeing anything about the game. Got home. Around midnight, I'm fast-forwarding, see down 6 with 59 seconds left. I turned it off.
No.
About 30 minutes later, while watching a movie, I opened my phone where I had last Googled Sixers score, and I see the score update to W in OT.
Unbelievable.
So that is watching it back without knowing.
That's incredible.
Are you ticked off at that point? Like, what feelings come through you? Like, oh, my God, I can't believe I didn't watch it.
And what does it carry over for how you're going to watch Game 6?
Yeah, nobody's taking their eyes off of Game 6 unless it's a 30-point lead with 10 seconds to go.
Or do they take their eyes off of it and think, well, it worked the last time?
Oh.
Dangerous, I know. But you don't know where the karma gods are going to come and rear their head.
So I got a personal text on that one. My mom checked in that she was playing one of the random games on her phone when they were down, switched over to solitaire, and then they made the comeback, so she played solitaire all overtime. So I think she's got a 4-quarter solitaire date on Thursday night.
Yeah, I mean, I love that people, one, I'm so proud of everyone for not being on your phone all the time. This guy, he turned off the game and then he watched a movie and did not turn his phone back on until after that. That's impressive. I'm impressed with you.
Very.
There's a guy that called in earlier, went to bed, got up in the morning, did not look at his phone, did not look at the internet, got in his car to go to work, and that's when he found out.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I'm so proud of everyone out there.
I don't look at my...
I'm confused but I'm proud.
Yeah, so I was impressed. It seems like he sleeps through the night, which is really cool. I don't look at my phone at night. You know, I have it on the nightstand next to me. When I used to have to get up really early in the morning, I would, you wake up and you're like, oh, how much more time do I have? Because, I was getting up at 3:30 in the morning. You're like, oh, God. But now I don't look at my phone at all. Now, last night, I watched the Sixers, watched the Phillies, went to bed, wanted to make sure, woke up, wanted to make sure, wait, did that Phillies game really happen or did I dream that? So looked at my phone again to make sure, oh, yeah, that's right. They did win 7-5. That was it. But I can't imagine turning off a game and not, even though you were disappointed and thought they were going to lose.
Just see how
you
it
need the
turned out.
affirmation.
Yeah, see how it turned out.
Like, I have to get the affirmation. That's crazy.
And we're also gluttons for punishment here. So even if you thought that they lost, you knew people were just going to tune in or log on just to see, well, how did it end?
I can't believe in this day and age we had people waking up this morning.
I love it.
And turning off the game and not knowing.
It's incredible.
What
it's
they
my favorite
did.
thing.
That is unbelievable. Doug in San Francisco has some ideas moving forward for the Sixers. Doug, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, first thing is Amy and Bob together. This has been awesome. Like, Amy, every time you're on, it is amazing.
Thanks, Doug.
Bob, I just want to let you know, I haven't talked to you before, but you're awesome. So you're my new morning show because I'm in San Francisco.
Thanks, Doug.
I was super stoked. I was super stoked when I heard it was you. But
so, Doug, real quick, fill me in. Are you from here?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm from South Jersey, and I was born in Philly. So.
Okay, where in South Jersey? Watch this connection,
Philly.
Ray. You ready? Where in South Jersey?
Morristown.
Morristown. Okay. How old are you, Doug?
I'm about 45-ish.
Okay, so you know the Langle brothers.
Yeah, very well.
There we go. There it is. 6 degrees of Cooney.
All right,
okay, Doug, what do we got now?
You have me off kilter now. So for the series moving forward, okay, this is a question. This is not a criticism because Maxey is Maxey. Because I think like a lot of people, you're watching what Joel was doing in the fourth quarter, and you're like, he literally is giving the game away. So moving forward, even if say we win this game or hopefully the series, what is the realistic chance that we have with Embiid just banged up like that, either that or mentally just not there? I mean, Maxey's going to be. I think Maxey's the new Batman. But that said, it's like we still need Embiid to be Embiid. So what are our realistic chances?
Well, I think it is a great question. I think I have to ask you this. Can they win? Now, he's got to stop with the 9 turnovers. That's ridiculous, and that has to be addressed, and I think that's easily addressed because that's sort of an anomaly. Can the Sixers win with him being a 19-point, 16-rebound, 10-assist guy?
If you're asking me, I don't think so because you had a superhuman performance by Maxey, like in the all-time great performances of all time in Philadelphia sports. That was one of them. So I don't think you can rely on that. And then also, we had Tobias the Friendly Ghost show up again, so that was nice. But we need the whole bench to come together. I don't know if it's there. That said, I am pulling, like you said, most people are just turning off the game. I'll tell you the reason why. It's because you're just so sad and you're just so broken. You don't want to deal with it. And for me, I was like, what? I'm still going to watch this because I need closure. Like, I'm the closure guy.
Okay,
so,
and I understand that totally, Doug. Doug, I feel like I want to say it was so good to meet you since we had our little background.
Nice,
Please.
Call again, Doug.
Amy, you're awesome.
Thank you, Doug. Appreciate it, buddy. Very nice words by you.
I will say that I think the game, if Embiid doesn't have the 9 turnovers, and it's hard to throw those out because there was 4 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
The 16 rebounds, you can win if he has a similar stat line, cutting down on the turnovers because you won't need his points as much.
Yeah, I mean, this is really strange.
Like if he gets 25 and 15, and then Tyrese Maxey does a Tyrese Maxey thing, I'm not saying he needs to take, but the game wouldn't have needed a Tyrese Maxey heroics if everything else fell in line.
Right. This is where my mind's going, Aim. They win a game last night with him being the Robin. All right, let's be honest. Joel Embiid was the Robin last night, whether he had to or not because of how his knee, face, head, all of that stuff is feeling. Fatigue probably also came in there, at some point or another as he went 48 minutes. does it kind of change your outlook of how you go about things? Look, you still have to make him the focus point of your offense. But does Nick Nurse maybe call some more pick and rolls for Tyrese Maxey? Does he call some more stuff or any stuff for Tobias Harris? They had a high-low play last night late in the game. That drove me crazy as much as anything. So they have a high-low play, and Kelly Oubre breaks free under the basket. Throw him a pass. Was it Tobias that threw him the pass, or it might have been Joel? I'm not sure. But, all they had to do was catch it, dunk. What's he do? He reaches out with one hand, which I know this goes back to being a coach and stuff.
It was like 6 minutes ago.
Catch the ball. Don't guide it to the ground. Don't put one hand out. Catch the ball. Doesn't catch it. It kind of flounders. You see three Knicks swarm at him like bees to honey, and he loses the ball, and then he loses his steps, and he finally throws it up there, and it's just him and three Knicks, and it bounces and bounces and bounces, and finally goes through the hoop, and you're like, oh, thank God. But that high-low was a great play.
Yeah.
I wonder if we're going to see more instead of just the high pick and roll with Joel or feed him foul line extended and him look to back up. I wonder if we're going to see some more.
And it's interesting because I think you will. I think that frees up a couple different guys, gets other guys more active and involved, and I think that's what we needed to see. There wasn't as much standing around. There was still some standing around. There wasn't as much standing around because there was movement on the high-low, the high pick and roll, and a couple of rolls. But you also have to wonder what's the counterpoint, because obviously if we're noticing it, the Knicks notice it. And the thing I like about the high-low, if it's done correctly, I don't know if there's anybody on the Knicks that can properly defend it if it's run correctly.
Right. So you're picking probably is Mitchell, what's his face? You're probably picking him up top, trying to pick him. He's your biggest physical guy.
And then so down there you have OG Anunoby, who is a very physical player.
Right. Or Josh Hart coming over to try to stop that.
Hart's not going to have the size.
Right.
So to me, I always think about, okay, so if we're recognizing it and we really liked it, obviously the Knicks did too, whoever the opponent is, do they have the personnel to run a proper defense to stop whatever was working well? And I think if that's run properly, no, I don't think so. Which I like. I think that's a good thing because it means the Knicks just don't have enough. That goes back to something at the beginning of this series. Sixers are the more talented team on paper. We had wondered, and we had been on the show several times, are the Knicks the better team?
Right.
They run a better offense. They run a better defense for what they need. But right now, the Sixers showed that they can win a Knicks style of game. I think that's a huge thing going forward.
I thought last night, especially in the fourth quarter, when Embiid had a lot of one-on-one, give him the ball, and it was him and Hartenstein, and he didn't even try to take advantage of it.
I think you saw a lot of he didn't have any lift.
Exactly.
But I didn't mind some of it because there was people like, he needs to go to the low block. He'd gone to the low block like 3 of the 4 times, and one time it was blocked, one time it was a turnover, one time it resulted in a free throw, and I think another time, I don't even know if he got the shot off. Maybe he might have passed back out of it.
Yeah, so when he was backing down, when he was going down low and having his back to the basket to pin up, what the Knicks were doing really well was coming from the weak side and doubling him, and he wasn't seeing it all that much, and it led to a lot of turnovers. Then when he was up straight and handling, he got uncharacteristically lazy with the basketball. The one time he tried to throw like a one-handed pass, another time he threw it straight into a Knick player. Like, there was badness there from Joel Embiid last night. He persevered. He gave you as much as he could. And like I said earlier, I think he took a step forward in getting that winner label from me put on his back. So a whole lot to talk about. Let's look forward to see where you feel, how you feel about tomorrow night's 9 o'clock, Game 6 against the New York Knicks here at the Wells Fargo Center. Amy Fadul's here with us till 2 o'clock when the lights go out on us. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back. Middays, 97.5, The Fanatic. Ty, get out of here. He comes up with such good stuff that I feel like I want to steal his stuff that he's coming up with on the best show ever at 2 o'clock. No, I don't.
No,
I
it's a
haven't.
good one.
That's such a. Ty has such a good look at that game last night in the way it concerned Joel Embiid. I'm not going to steal it at all, but you got to listen at 2 o'clock because it is good. I labeled it this morning that I said going off of Monday, where I had as I told you, I had a friend call me on Sunday, ticked off that the Sixers lost, and his first words when I said, "Yo, Embiid's a loser." No. He's not a loser. Stop. And then as the conversation lengthens and goes on, I finally get him to the point where he needs him to be a winner. And we can't label him a winner yet because they haven't gone far in the playoffs and all of those things. We all agree he's a great player. That's where I got my friend to be. This morning, last night, the game gets over, and I sit there and, everything's running through your mind, and I'm putting pen to paper and all those things, and it came across my mind. Joel Embiid last night, although played poorly, in my book, took a step towards being that winner last night because he didn't have his normal game, and yet I thought he played backseat to Tyrese Maxey, helped Tyrese Maxey be that front seat player, and did all the other little things that you needed in order for them to win the basketball game last night. Ty has an unbelievably good spin on it, so make sure that you listen to the best show ever. So, Amy, that game gets done last night. I really haven't looked forward, and don't forget, Tom McGinnis is going to be joining us at 1 o'clock today after his great call on the Sixers last night. When did you afford yourself the luxury of looking forward to Game 6? Maybe it came during the show.
That's my answer.
Is that right?
Yes. I mean, so obviously I do the post-game show with Jim Lyman and Mark Jackson, so we are fired up. We're doing that show. We tape stuff for our morning show that runs all morning, Sportsnet Central. Shameless plug. You should watch it. It's really great. That's usually we take like a thought from the game and then we spin it forward because it ran this morning. It was all on that game as it should be, and we don't spin it forward yet. So we're still so locked in on Game 5. I get it this morning. Shawnee comes down. He wants to talk about the game. We're all about Game 5. So I did not allow myself. The only thing I knew was the game time. And then I start mentally preparing like I have to be at the show and whatever else. I didn't think about that. The only time I really thought about it was driving here, and I started thinking about, is this enough momentum to carry forward? Because I had the conversation with Jim off air. Like, I did bring it up on air as well. And he believed, like, momentum is a real thing. You can feel it. And I'm always curious to get, guys that are coaches and players in the league, what it's like for them in moments like this. Like, what is it like being in a game like this? Whether it's a game that's close, whether it's a game that's an elimination game, or you're trying to eliminate somebody else. Like, are you so locked in, you're just unaware of everything? And the answer is usually yes. But at what point do you realize, like, oh, my God, this is happening. This happened. Now I have to think about something else. Like, it's such a switch. They have to turn it so quick.
Yeah.
Like today, Nick Nurse is talking in like 20 minutes or 30 minutes. He's going to start talking over there. And he already has it. Game 5, great. Yeah, Tyrese Maxey was wonderful. He's all Game 6. They were Game 6 within 30 seconds, really, of that one. It took me a little bit longer, but I started to think about, I liked that they learned how to win a game that's not necessarily their style. I like that they got different guys to step up, and I thought that it bode well for Game 6. That was really the first time I started thinking about it was today.
Yeah, I thought about it last night in the way of this. When does Nick Nurse turn the page? Not so much me. When does Nick Nurse turn the page? When does he tell his players to turn the page? And then I started thinking, you know what? Does he let them have it?
You gotta have it last night.
Like, look,
in the
guys,
garden, in the locker room of the garden.
Right.
You gotta let them.
Let them have it, and I mean, let them have their fun. Let them have their jubilation for the win. Maybe even the whole bus ride home. I let these guys. They've played them 5 times in a row now. Is there secrets out there? Is there stuff that they don't know about each other? No, not a lot. So my thought was, you don't want to overburden them and be like, all right, guys, let's get ready for Game 6. And it's like,
but enjoy it.
All right, man.
I imagine they enjoyed it on the Amtrak home.
Yeah. Did they train?
Yeah, they usually train.
Okay. I know back in the day there was buses that happened when I was
have their own
the team.
Amtrak.
Okay, so it's interesting. Now it's time, though. I'm sorry. At 12 o'clock today, I deemed it time. Way to go, Game 5. Bring it on Game 6. Now we have a long wait. It's a 9 o'clock game tomorrow night, Aim, which I don't mind. You don't mind. None of us mind. You and I don't have like clocks that we set. Ours is just a. We
Always
just
on.
go. Yeah, like we just go.
Clock's always
Our clock's set more towards, when can I grab some sleep? Okay,
Yeah.
well, then I'll do it. All the other time, it's all right, where do I got to be? What do I got to do? But looking forward to this game and asking the question that I did, who would you rather be for tomorrow night's game is one answer with you, and that's the 76ers, understandably. Who would you rather be for this series? You went New York Knicks, understandably. They're up 3-2. How do you look? This is the question that we're putting out for the rest of the show. And you can come to us at 610-632-0975. You want to talk on the air about it? Great. You want to send us a text? We have some good ones that we're going to get to in a minute also. But how do you feel? How do you feel about this Game 6 tomorrow night? Let's get to Frank in Philly. Wants to talk a little bit about what happened last night. Frank, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
What's going on, Bob? What's going on?
How you doing, buddy?
Hi, Frank.
I'm tired of this fan base bashing Joel, man. Like, I really am. It gets me. If 99% of the centers in the league had that stat line, they had a great game. But when Joel does 19, 16, and 10, it's, he's drained. He didn't. Like, the Denver Nuggets are only good because their supporting cast helps out Jokic and knocks down shots. Last night, Joel's supporting cast finally helps him out. We win. He has a triple-double, and Joel didn't play good. Maxey saved him. No, Maxey gets paid, too, to play the game. So does Tobias Harris.
Let me ask you this, Frank, real quick. I haven't heard the bashing of Joel as much. You know what it's more leaned towards with the people that I hear talking about, his game is that they feel bad for him because he's not at 100%. But you feel like you hear bashing a lot of him during this series?
Yeah, ready? And one of them are the guys that you always talk to. Your friend that always, he's not a winner. That just gets me aggravated. Like, how's this dude not a winner? Like, he's not a loser.
Well, hold on there, Frank, real quick. I agree. He is not a loser. No way, no how, no damn. I'm hesitant to label him a winner. A winner to me is a guy that carries his team in series, whose team goes beyond a second round, stuff like that. Winner to me is a really great label. I don't know if I can put it on him yet.
And my thing is, his defensive presence is like when he's off the court, they're minus 21.
Yeah.
He's on the court, he's plus 14. That's 35-point difference. So that's 7 points a game that they're giving up when he's on the bench, and they're up double digits. So it's not Joel's fault.
No, not at all.
Runs without him.
No.
And it's just he gets labeled the bad guy all the time, and he's averaging 35, 10, and 6 guys. Like, let's be serious.
It is.
On one leg.
It is. Frank, thanks so much for the call. Really appreciate it. I understand where Frank's coming from exactly. I really do. And Frank could be mad at me for saying what I said. But I'm careful with my words. And you know that, Aim. I do not label, like I said, loser is a 4-letter word in my book when you're talking about someone as an athlete. I never, ever would label Joel Embiid a loser. I just don't think he's that winner yet. And I think he would admit he hasn't won anything that he's wanted to win so far. Yes, the ultimate goal is championship. They obviously haven't gotten to that. But I could label you a winner carrying a lesser team. Allen Iverson was a winner in 2001, carrying that team to the NBA Finals. To me, that was a winner-type thing. Joel Embiid took a step towards being a winner last night. In my book, he just did. And I understand, Frank being upset with people that are calling out Joel Embiid.
Well, and I think Joel Embiid would agree in the fact that when you are the player of his stature, his skill set, contract, he's the leader of the team. So you're always going to take more. It's like the quarterback. You're always going to take more of the criticism. He knows. I think that when I thought about you saying that he took the step towards the winner, I think it's because of the game that he had. Frank brought up the stat line, and people should be impressed with it. It's obviously an impressive stat line. It's not impressive for here because we're so used to Joel Embiid putting up 35 points without even batting an eye. It was 9 turnovers. It's what he did because of that stat line at the end of the game. I think that's where, when you look at the whole encompassing game, everything that he gave to me, he did what he needed to do. He was obviously struggling. We've seen that. There's no lift there at times. But when the game counted, and he's been playing 48 minutes, at the end of the game, he really came through. Not to mention, obviously, the rebounds and everything leading up to that. But to me, that's where you thought, okay, we're talking about clutch genes and clutch players, people stepping up when they need to. Maxey clearly did. but so did Joel Embiid.
Yeah, absolutely.
So did Tobias Harris. A bunch of guys did.
Yes, Tobias Harris, absolutely. We haven't mentioned enough. Kelly Oubre with 19 more points. I think he's looking more comfortable offensively as this
I think
series
he
goes
loves
on.
playing at the Garden.
I do too. Yeah, there's some guys that place lights up. Our friend Maria, who called us earlier today from Collingswood, when I tell you she is in love with Tyrese
Maxey.
Kelly Oubre.
She's the one that said, yeah, she really liked his look.
She sends, loves him. Her text last night was, shoot, I'm going to have to get to it. Wait a second. Hold on, here it is. Do you know if Kelly Oubre is a good dancer? I bet he is. And she sends the smiley face with hearts in the eyes. She's nuts. She's one of my favorites. We have a good Sixers story, Ray, that you got off of the text line?
Yeah, we got a couple people checking in with how they watched last night. John B. checking in. Hey, as with most 25 seconds left, I thought it was done. Was texting my friend that Maxey lost the game because of the missed foul shots. Gotta wait till the end, folks.
Yeah, that was tough, though.
That's a good turn of events.
Yeah, it was different.
PJ from Freehold checking in with us. I was watching the game on my phone, and when we were down 6, I said it's over and changed over to listen to the Fanatic, and was pleasantly surprised with what he ended up hearing. Also, I want to throw this in, not a story about the game, but we got someone checking in, and B dropping 50 tomorrow night. Watch.
Woo.
I think the confidence is coming back for some people.
It's interesting because yesterday it was all about they didn't sign this guy. They needed this guy. We had Mo Bamba, PJ Tucker talk.
Oh, yeah.
They have the guys.
It's funny how 24 hours changes things,
that's what
doesn't
happens
it?
when people step up. You know, Nico Batum, I think, had some really nice plays. Kelly Oubre obviously did as well. You wondered who might be coming in. And I do want to shout out one thing that Tyrese Maxey said in his postgame at the press conference, availability. He had missed those 2 free throws, and that's what made me think of it when Ray just told the text story. He came off came to the bench, and Buddy Hield came right over to him. Buddy Hield, who has not played.
Yes.
Buddy Hield came right over to him. Tyrese Maxey specifically said, I want to shout out Buddy Hield. This guy is coming off an insane performance, one for the ages, single-handedly won the game for them. And he was like, I want to make sure I shout out Buddy Hield. He came over to me after I missed those 2 free throws, got my head straight. I really appreciated him. I want to make sure he's known. He didn't have to do that. He wasn't in the game. I just thought, wow, like what a moment to say that. What a leader to say that. What a time to appreciate a teammate. So when people want to play for other people and that's who you want to play for. You want to play for that kid.
And 23 years old. 23 years old. Get used to him, Philly. He's going to be here for a while. Okay, when we get back, all you guys on hold, I'll get to all you. I also want to remind you that Tom McGinnis will be joining us at 1 o'clock. And then later on in the show, we're going to get to some of the sound bites from after the game last night so you can hear what Nick Nurse, what Tyrese Maxey, what Joel Embiid had to say about that huge win. Amy Fadul is here with us all day long till 2 o'clock. I'm Bob Cooney. This is Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic. no better feeling than to say when you're at work, man, I'm starving.
Free food.
And then you walk out, and Tyrone was nice enough to bring us some Buffalo Wild Wings. So, Ray, I'm sorry, I just saw it. I only had a second. I ran into this studio just where. Why are you giving me a look like I done you wrong? There's wings out there. Go get some. We don't need you for 5 more minutes. Go get yourself some wings.
Okay, sounds good.
That's not true.
It's all good to go.
You do
Well,
need
before you do that.
No, I'm not leaving. So,
just a reminder, Tom McGinnis will be joining us at 1 o'clock to tell us all about the call that he had last night with your Philadelphia 76ers improbable win. All right, Dylan asked you one word earlier, asked all of us before I get to our callers, to give one word on our Instagram to describe Tyrese Maxey's game last night. You went with?
Stratospheric.
I went with unfathomable. If we were to talk about the Sixers' effort last night in the one-word aim, and Ray, since Amy's thinking like nobody's business here, Ray, you got one?
improbable.
All right.
Improbable. That's pretty good.
Heart-stopping.
Heart-stopping. All right. Is that one word or 2 words?
It's hyphenated. It's
You'll
one
change-
word hyphenated.
You'll change the word. You change the rules if you have to.
It's one word.
Andy in Lambertville. You're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's going on, Andy?
Hey, good afternoon. I was want to talk. Looking forward to Game 6. I feel pretty confident, actually. Looking forward to hearing Tom at the top of the hour, though, because he's so good at his job.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know. I play saxophone. There's a thing called circular breathing, and I don't know how he can. I don't know when he breathes. But anyway.
The fact that he does it by himself and has done it by himself for so many years.
Incredible.
It is, because I know Tom pretty well. We were on the road together for a lot of years. His mind is always going. And when you listen to him, not only is he describing play-by-play, but he also gives you a synopsis of what should happen as he's all going on. Yeah.
I love it how he drops in stats when the players are taking the ball out and bringing it up court. He drops in like 3 or 4 different stats, and then he jumps right back into the play-by-play.
He's the best.
Pro.
Yeah.
All about the bench tomorrow night, gang. All about the bench. Now, the Knicks are without Bogdanovich, and, of course, Mitchell doesn't give you much offensively. So the Knicks, and I don't, on the road, benches don't play as well. I don't think McBride's going to be able to have a big night. So it's just going to be up to the Sixers. I'd like to see about 20 points off the bench. And easy peasy, we're going back to the Garden for Game 7.
All right. I love to hear it, Andy. Thanks so much.
20 points off the bench. I'll take 15.
They got 14 last night.
I'll
You
take
had
that.
8 and 6. It's funny, and I was when Andy said it, like, all right, here we go. They're going to win tomorrow night. It's the bench. Really? Is that where we're looking? The bench?
You can't discount them, but
No, you can't.
you need them in the way that you saw them in Game 5.
There was
That's
one,
fair, right?
Yes, absolutely. There was one point last night, Aim, where in the first half I thought the Sixers were getting some open looks. They just weren't hitting them. I did. I went there.
No, you didn't.
I did. In my mind, I was like, give it a shot.
No.
Because you're gonna play everybody 40 minutes, 40 plus minutes again. See if he can see if our buddy can come in. Come on, buddy, come in here and just drain a
In
shot.
the first quarter, campaign first quarter minutes.
I don't know.
So that's how you need to know, though. That's all you need to know. So the little spark needed to be put in, whatever it was, the bench. He looked down the bench and he said, "Campaign, that's my guy."
He did. Did you notice that one time Joel Embiid fed the ball back out to Campaign and then was calling for it, and Campaign lined up that
He's like,
dog-ass
no.
ugly shot
He's like, nope.
and shot it, and Joel Embiid, he was disgusted until the ball went in.
Well, Cam shot it, rebound, back out. Remember, and Campaign took
Yeah.
it again.
Yeah.
And you're thinking no. And then as soon as you thought no, yes. His shot never looks like it's going in if you look at his feet and his hands.
Oh.
But if you watch the ball leaves his hands, it does look like it's going in. The physics of it do not add up.
No.
Do not care.
But don't try to change it. Yeah.
No, it works.
No, everything's fine. Frank on the Atlantic City Expressway. Frank, how are you today?
Hi, how are you?
Doing good. Are you going down the shore or coming from the shore?
I'm going to the shore to work.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, what a game. I mean, I said to my friends that I was watching the game with, I said, Maxey's got to score 35 points this game for him to win. And he
And
reminded
you were
me-
way off.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, because you can't expect much from the bench, and it was so. I mean, I didn't fall asleep on it. I watched the whole thing. I'll never do that unless they're down like 20 points. But I mean, yeah, I'm confident they're going to come back and probably win tomorrow. Now, I mean, Joel does have to at least come up with a decent game. I don't know if Max is going to put up 30, 35 again or 40, but yeah.
Frank, you said at least a decent game. Did you think he didn't have a decent game last night? A fair question. I'm not honest question.
Yeah, it's not a Joel Embiid game. I mean, he didn't have a Joel Embiid game. You know what I mean? And he had one Joel Embiid game really, in a 50-point game last week, and then
He's averaging 35 for the series.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah.
Well, he had 51 game.
Yeah, that's true, Frank.
30.
Yeah,
30.
Frank, thanks so much. Appreciate it, buddy. I'm sorry, but we're up against it. That's great. Like Frank, that's such a cool observation. And he goes, "Yeah, it just wasn't an Embiid game last night." I say it's cool because that shows us how great this guy is.
So that's our expectations are. We expect 35 to 40 points minimum.
Right. And somebody earlier was like, anybody else had this line in the league, everybody be okay with it. It just shows the goodness of Joel Embiid. The goodness of Tom McGinnis is going to be joining us at 1 o'clock. Amy and I are here for about another hour before the best show ever comes on. You got to stay tuned for that. Tyrone, Ricky, and Jen. And then Tom McGinnis coming with us at 1 o'clock, of course. This is Middays. Amy Fadul's here all day long. Bob Cooney, 97.5, The Fanatic. Welcome back, 1 o'clock hour. Thanks for joining us here at The Fanatic. Amy Fadul is with us all day long today. It's so great to have her. She is our ray of sunshine and the real Ray Dunn, producing back there behind the glass. Right now, we want to go to the Comcast Business Hotline because we have the man, the myth, and the legend on here waiting for us, Tom McGinnis. Tom, how you doing today, buddy?
Hi, Bob. Good afternoon. Hi, Amy.
Hi, Tom.
Tom, last night, I don't know how you come down from these instances. Like, you get done your call last night, and you and I have been on the road many times together, and you get done and you take off your headset, and boom, game's done, your call's done. How do you like wind down from something like that? How long does it take you, Tom?
Well, last night I had my son alongside. He's been with me for all these games. Our son Luke is an 18-year-old senior in high school and quite the basketball aficionado. So we walked back to the hotel. We drove, and then we drove home. But, you know, like I like to kind of, I would say, veg out a little bit after the game, whether it's on the bus or on the drive home if we're home or getting on the plane, and kind of just take a complete, like I remember the last time we spoke, Bob, you were talking about the analysis after the game. I was too polite to say, I don't listen to and what I did say is I already saw what I know. You know what I mean? I don't have to listen to be it broke down with all due respect. But I just kind of melt, and I go through the game a lot, like what I said and is that all right and that. And trust me, it's not the, oh, yeah, that call was great. It's not that. It's an inventory of how I handle the game, and then you think you ruminate a little bit over that, even into the next day, but then you kind of take the Nick Nurse method, and that is at a certain point, particularly on a back-to-back, you wash it away and you move on. But a game like that, and then other things too, like, and with the stimuli that exists when you live in this orbit, and that is at the arena, all the people you talk to, all the things that happen in the game, certainly the broadcast, and those are kind of the things that wash over your mind, and that's a treat, really. That's like living it all over again, and that's kind of how I fall asleep, like thinking about oh my gosh, all these different things happening. Because I love talking to people like yourself and at the game, and you get a chance to brush shoulders with so many basketball people in the media, scouts, coaches, players. I love that part of it. I always call that around the batting cage.
Yeah.
And, it does take a little bit of time to wind down just because you're kind of ramped up. And certainly last night, listening to all those people and the silence based on how the last time we were there, it's maybe the loudest I've ever heard any building. It just absolutely erupted at the end of game 2. But the silence we've heard in the late stages yesterday.
Yeah, and when you're in that moment, because the Garden started playing their kind of victory song when Deuce McBride hit that shot. The fans are going bananas. People are tweeting ball game for Tyrese Maxey. So at what point did you allow yourself to have a little bit of, I don't want to say hope, because I think you probably, you're so locked into the game, but thought, okay, they're still in this thing. Was it when he had the 4-point play? Was it
Yeah, that's what I would say, because then it pulled them within a chance, to get a 4-point play. That's not an easy thing to do, right? And then the other part too, Amy, like with the noise, I heard a lot of that today going over the highlights. I don't hear that because I have a headset on, and I don't hear. In a way, I sort of miss some things. I know some broadcasters have one of their headphones off, maybe so they can hear that. But that's not my focus. Is what's going on and dissecting the play and diagramming. Like I listened to the call, and one might say, "Geez, he really didn't go up," because there was still 8 seconds to go, and Brunson is pulling up magic that you never know what could happen there, or God forbid there could be a foul called. But look, creeping back into the game, because there was certainly, I think, like the rest of us, points where you didn't think there was a chance. Right? It looked like the season was going to kind of fritter away. And that would have been just terrible because of the mistakes the Sixers made. And I shift a little here. To me, that's the hope, and that is I still feel like the 76ers can play so much better. And if there's a way to have – because they didn't lose these games by 12 different possessions. They lost some of these games by 3-4 possessions. And I know that's what Coach was talking a little bit about. Just do it a little bit better. But you got to wash away the mistakes. You can't give the ball away that much. And hopefully, like almost the 9 o'clock start is kind of almost like a blessing in disguise, just because they'll have a whole day to get ready and kind of re-energize and do what I said, and that is get rid of the other game and build up on what you can do better and kind of rest, recovery, hydrate, all the things we know that they need to do to get ready to play. Because look at the Knicks, too. Those guys, there's a 5-0 next to like 3 of their names in terms of minutes. They're almost in a wall of attrition.
Tom, if you can give me a synopsis or give us all a synopsis of what you thought of Joel Embiid's game last night and where he may be moving forward in this series.
Right. So that's a lot because again, we sit so far, we're lifted way off the court. To give you an idea, and you guys know, even like at our place, we're very close to the center court cameras. That's right. That's way up, right? And so, and I'm not down there. I'm not privy to the intel of how Joel's doing, but you watch by the action, like you could tell he wasn't, by observing that he wasn't 100%. Some of the decisions he made. And then I thought, toward the end, when Coach took him out, he was fatigued. That when he was trapped and got his 9th turnover, that was, really like, come on, that was a bad pass. And then I thought early in the game, like in the first half, when Maxey was right there and Joel brought it up. That's what we have Maxey for. There are times with the abilities of Embiid to bring it out of the backcourt and dribble it up and turn it into an immediate back down. That's certainly a skill he has. But when let's let Maxey do it, he'll get you the ball. So, sometimes I think to sum up that part of it, I think maybe Joel was trying too hard. You kind of think what Jordan did. You kind of got to let you got to trust the others. And it might just be trusting the starters in Payne and Nico Batum. Okay, that's the way the thing is played out right now. But there was an element, too, and I don't want to compare him to Jordan, but remember, too, Michael Jordan sometimes let everybody else get involved because he knew he could get his. And I think sometimes that might behoove Embiid and the team if he were able to do that. And granted, he throws out of the double team. Some of the passes he's made in the series in Game 4, that first half bounce pass to Tobias, big time, elite level play. But last night I thought he pressed a little much, and that led to the 9 turnovers. And in these high leverage games, they have that many turnovers we got away, almost unforgivable. But he came alive down the stretch and made the plays with the defense and the diving and getting that ball, that loose ball. He ended up helping the Sixers save it. And then you look across the board, he had a triple-double. So we're quibbling a little bit about this or that, and he had big-time numbers. And I thought before Game 3, he had 50 points. I thought he moved so well. I thought he was moving better than at any other point since he's come back. But it's not a straight line, right? It's not, okay, upward progress, he's going to be better and better every game. Clearly, he was debilitated yesterday, and as I said, I don't know what it's like to have a migraine when you're in his condition, but I'm pretty sure, when it's 4 o'clock, all of a sudden it's not better, right? I'm sure he was still battling that as the game went on. So there was certainly some unbelievable effort and playing through pain and like that, and he delivered. And now, like I said, a cleaner game. Let everybody else get involved and start flushing those 18-foot jump shots like it's nobody's business and lead the Sixers to victory in part with Maxey and the rest of the crew on Thursday.
Yeah, Tom, it felt like a little bit of a shift because the first game of this series, they probably could have won that game. They didn't. The second game, they probably should have won. They showed us a game where they probably shouldn't have won for all the things you just mentioned. Maybe they didn't play as well. Tyrese Maxey obviously saved them in a lot. The turnovers, they did not shoot the free throws all that well. The first half, they shot very poorly overall. What do you think that says about this team then going forward? Because they had a game that they did not play well in, but when they really needed to, there's a shift there to me.
No, you're right. In another way, if you're, somebody said this in the Western Conference, they found something, right? So there's no doubt there's kernels of truth to what you're saying. And that's circling back to what I was saying. I think the Sixers can play better, but it's now or never. You can't contemplate come next week if you get knocked out. You got to do it now. And I felt like if the Sixers possibly could get through this and get on a run, your team can get a lot better. Although you don't get to practice, you're going through these, walkthroughs, and you're at the school of Nick Nurse and learning and adjusting. And he talked about that from the 2019 Raptors, where you're together for 2 more months. and it's, a huge immersion into basketball and like that. So no doubt about it. I mean, you get into the woulda, coulda, shoulda game, like the Sixers conceivably, they could have been on a closeout position. And that's what you have to do. There are times, and I think if we're all honest, that the Knicks have played harder with those offensive rebounds and the rebound wins for them, and for the Sixers, they too have played extremely hard. Honest to God, and this is almost like a headline, I feel like the Sixers are a better team, but they've got to prove it. I mean, I think they have more pieces, more weapons, and again, without Randall, without Bogdanovic, they're hurt. Robinson's not 100%. I get that. But I feel like the Sixers, when they're whole and when they're playing, at their best, they're a better team. But Brunson has been incredible. I think Hart and Dante have kind of shifted back to, at times, who they are in general. But that doesn't mean DiVincenzo won't make 6 threes Thursday night, or Hart won't have another triple-double. So those guys there's so many winners, right? They all have hearts of it. It's not just the person that holds the Larry O'Brien trophy. These guys have hearts of a champion. We've seen it as they played for Villanova, and we all rooted for them for all these years. They're hard to root against because of who they are and how they play. And same thing with Maxey. You saw a winner. You saw, how about the pictures of those guys? I said, he's a celebrity, and running right in front of Jon Stewart, and you saw what that guy from SNL did. Give me a break, right? And then looked like Stiller was hissing at Tyrese, right? Who's the star now? He's the star. You're just watching. So those guys, it's unbelievable basketball, high level, very entertaining, so intense, kind of always rooted for this series, wishing maybe over the years it would be on the Sixers' terms, but you don't get the pick, and here you are with 2 more games to go.
Tom, saying that with 2 more games to go, Sixers, grab an unbelievable win last night. You say the Sixers can play better. I agree with you. I don't know if the Knicks can play better. So my question to you is this. Is it advantage Sixers now, or is it still advantage Knicks because they have the 3-2 lead?
Well, because they, yes, for sure. Because, it comes down to one game. It's funny because when we're at the arena prior to the game, particularly at home, people approach you like, what do you think? And I don't know. Would you have thought that's how any of these games
exactly.
The Sixers would hit 9 threes. The coaches don't know it. With all the preparation, you have a feel and a sense, but that's why you play it out. So the advantage would be to the Sixers in that they just came, as Amy said, they kept their season alive when the miracle at Madison with Maxey, right? And so, but you got to parlay that again. I thought if the Sixers made 2 or 3 more threes in the first quarter, they got a double-digit cushion. They were bombing. They were up 10-2, and they were flying with the threes and not making them. I thought maybe that was a sign of kind of over-trying a little. At the time, I said, singles, guys, singles.
I heard you. I was listening when you said that.
What are we doing?
Yeah, we don't need homers. Just make an extra pass. Somebody gets a driving. So that you have to play. You can't over-try. That's the conundrum of any athletic comp. But, how do you play loose and free and let your muscle memory and your instincts and play with flow and all that in a high-stakes do-or-die elimination game? That's why they're pros. That's why they get paid the big bucks. You've got to be able to do that and trust your instincts. I mean, again, it's hard to make an entry pass. It's hard to get the ball in on a bounce play. I call that spring training stuff. The simplest stuff is magnified and becomes so almost indomitable, but you got to be able to make the plays, and there are times in the series the Sixers haven't made the plays. So, again, clean it up a little bit and do the things that have got you here, and you got an opportunity. It should be extremely exciting. Bob, you asked at the beginning, what's it like? It is to be a broadcaster. You can't coach. I don't play, but the palpitations and the intensity of the competition is an absolute treat.
And having you on here is an absolute treat,
Yeah,
Tom. We appreciate you joining us for a few minutes. Good luck tomorrow night to the Sixers, and we can't wait to hear your call at 9 p.m.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
Tom.
The great Tom McGinnis just joined us on the Comcast Business Hotline.
I like that he's also getting the palpitations.
Yeah.
How do you not in a game like that?
He is, for those of you who haven't seen Tom, and I've told him this story, and I may have said it on the air a few times. When you're on the road with a team and the days start getting really long, and you might be 50, 60 games into a season, and you're in yet another city, and you just can't wait to get home, and you're covering a game, and you look over and you notice, tonight Tom's 2 seats down from me, and you get to hear the call while you're also working. It was such at least for me, it was such a soothing thing. Like, all right, part of home is sitting with me right now because,
right next to you.
yeah, and it's been great to become friends with him through the years. And look, as Tom said, he's not playing anymore. Those of us that can't play anymore and do that, we find our enjoyment elsewhere. Thomas is as tense as they come when it comes to announcing the game, and as we all know, one of the best for sure. G on the cell, little bit nervous. G, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, no, the reason why I was nervous, but first I want to ask Amy. I don't know if this has ever been brought up. I brought it up on the previous show. But whenever Maxey is mic'd up, he doesn't have a great game. I believe he's been mic'd up about 5 times on ESPN. And the last one Sunday, I know that Christmas game he was mic'd up. Amy, please, don't let them mic him up, please.
You know what, G? I'll put in the request. No more mics on Tyrese. Hands off.
If we see it on him tomorrow night, G, when we're down there, we'll just rip it off.
No
I'll
problem.
just tell him it's not your best interest.
Yeah.
We got you.
Yeah, bump into him like the old school.
Exactly. Like,
pickers.
Sorry, how did I end up with this mic rope?
Yeah.
Sorry for
Exactly. 2 points. One of the things why I was nervous because I saw the meltdown with Joel. The first time I saw it, he dribbled the ball. He was at the top of the key at the three-point line. Tobias was on the wing. Nico was in a corner. He refused to give them the ball. The play was designed, I guess, to swing it back to Maxey, but they was flexing on Maxey. They wouldn't allow him to get the ball, and he shot it late in the shot clock. I was like, here we go. And then that little spurt where he was throwing the ball away, I was so nervous. But what Mark Jackson said, Amy, in the postgame, when Nurse pulled him aside and sat him on the bench, was the best thing that Nurse has did all year. He saw the meltdown because he coached against them. He saw that wave of defenders coming against him, and that was the best thing that Nurse did. He got him together. He corralled him. And moving forward, that's what we need. If you see your superstar struggling, sit him down for a second, get him back together.
That's a great.
Love it. I love it, G. Thanks so much for the call. You mentioned that earlier, right?
He's talking about there's it's 7 minutes or so to go in the fourth quarter. Joel Embiid obviously been playing. They managed the minutes a little bit differently, but not all that much differently. I think that they took him out a little bit earlier in the first, but it doesn't matter. So in the fourth quarter, he had a bad turnover, just a lazy one, like a not thinking type of thing. Just thinking, all right, I'm just going to throw this over there, and no one else was ready for it, and the ball flies out, and you see some frustration. And then it was right before that, Josh Hart had just made a layup, and you thought maybe that's the timeout.
I was calling for it then, yeah.
Then they cut the lead into 1, and then he called it, and he was only on the bench game-wise about a minute 10-ish, real time probably closer to 3 minutes. But it was, and Nick Nurse has confirmed it, it was just about his play. Like, get your head right. Not like he's over there to yell at him. This isn't Little League where he's like, can't do. He knows where he's at. He's coached him long enough. Obviously it's his first year with him, but he knows him. And I think G brought up a good point. He's also seen it as the opposing coach.
Exactly.
And he wants to exploit it as the opposing coach. And he knows that Thibodeau probably sees it as well. This guy's frustrated. Let's go right at him. He's going to do something stupid. And he said, get your head right. There was a head right type of timeout. He goes back in a minute 10 later in game time.
Not a J right timeout. It's a head right timeout.
Head right, yeah. Which is just as good sometimes.
Do you think he gave him fluffy talk?
No, it was I think there was probably very little talk, to be honest.
Yeah, probably. You're right.
He probably knew exactly what it was. Go over here, get yourself together. Joel's a professional. He's been around the league long enough. He comes back in, ball game.
Yeah, it was great to see. Aim, you made a great point in the 12 o'clock hour.
I loved the 12 o'clock hour.
Well, you know why? Because it was brought to us by Service First Heating and Air Conditioning. See, that's a team right there. Get 0% financing for 72 months and a $500 rebate when you purchase a complete heating and cooling system from Service First. Learn more at servicefirsthvac.com. Okay, when we get back, I want to play some clips from last night. A little reaction from Nick Nurse, Joel Embiid, and Tyrese Maxey on what they saw last night. And just, to kind of look into that a little bit looking forward to tomorrow night as it is a 9 o'clock game at the Wells Fargo Center. Perfect. perfect. For you can
It's always
tailgate
perfect.
from 6 to 8:25 if you want.
Your team gets a couple more hours to get as healthy and as mentally right as they need to.
Yeah,
That's
hopefully
how I
no
look at it.
shoot around tomorrow. I would assume Nick Nurse would let them stay in, sleep in.
I'm sure they had something today.
Yeah, probably a little. Nick Nurse was available, so probably got together, watched maybe some tape or something today. So we'll see how that all plays out. All right, when we get back, that's what we're going to run through. We're so glad you're with us. 2 o'clock, best show ever. You have Tyrone. You have Bill Colarulo today, as Ricky is over doing like Philly stuff or something like that. And, of course, the wonderful Jen Scordo. Amy Fadul with us all day long. This is Middays, Bob Cooney, 97.5, The Fanatic. Half hour to go with us. Amy Fadul, Bob Cooney here, Ray Dunn producing. We're so glad that you joined us today. Lots and lots and lots of Sixers talk. You know you have a great teammate when they can, like sometimes it's a look-away pass. You just know where they're going to be. Or you're about to call a play and they already know what it's going to be before you call it. Or you might mess up and not give an hourly sponsor, and you like try to get into it, and your teammate just picks it up like that.
I'm there for you.
You're incredible. It's already gotten to the point where you're finishing my sentences, Aim.
Well, I've known you a long time, buddy, and I'm excited to be on this show with you.
I am excited to have you. The Fanatic Deal of the Week. I'm excited about this also. You know why? Because it's Von C. Brewing Company. Who doesn't like a brewing company? Get a taste of Philly brewing history with the Fanatic Deal of the Week. This week only, get a $50 gift card for Von C. Brewing Company in Norristown for just $25. Get this exclusive offer while supplies last at 975thefanatic.com/deals. Okay, I wanted to get, Ray, I should have probably talked to you about this, but I wanted to get into some of the stuff that was said last night about that Sixers game and things that they went through. And Tyrese Maxey, who was just absolutely phenomenal last night, especially in the final minute of the game. He had a 4-point play, final half minute of the game, a 4-point play. Pump fakes, goes up, Mitchell Robinson. Why do I always keep forgetting his last name?
Because it's two
Mitchell,
last names.
Yeah, I said Mitchell, what's his face? You can't trust people with 2 first names or 2 last names.
I've never heard either of those.
We had a rule one time where we used to have a golf pool. Was it a golf pool? Something pool.
Well, there's a lot of golfers who have 2 last names.
You had to take a guy that had 2 first names or 2 last names. Had to be in your
the
pool.
golfer world has a lot of 2 last names.
Well, they're kind of snotty. So anyway, last night in the last half minute of the game, Tyrese Maxey went off. He talked about what his mindset was during that final half minute.
We knew we had to get some threes up. I mean, I just tried to get to a spot and raise and shoot. Thankfully, he jumped, and I didn't get my feet set like right away to shoot it. So I was able to just kind of lean in and make a shot.
And what about the other one at the end of regulation?
I mean, that's just a lot of reps. Going right, throwing the ball out, chasing it, and Rico been on me all year about shooting the deep ones, and I've been working on it all year, so it pays off.
It's funny. He talks about, I got the guy up in the air, Mitchell Robinson, and then I couldn't get my feet set. So you took 4 steps and got your feet set and then got the shot up. For people who didn't see it on Twitter, there may have been a little bit of happy feet going on with Tyrese Maxey. But when you look at it in real time, I didn't pick up a travel there. Like, you got to really slow it down and say, okay, maybe he traveled.
He slid that.
But
extra.
so what?
You know how I know he didn't travel? Because they didn't call it.
That's right. And the referees are almost always correct.
Correct.
They did have a very good night last night. As I said, I don't think refereeing came into play all that much at all. A couple plays you could have looked at and said, oh, where's the contact there? I'd rather have that.
Yeah,
I'd rather have that than other things.
There was one Maxey one that was late that I thought where he missed the layup, and there was a little extra Josh Hart.
Yes.
And Brunson has gotten that call in this series.
Yeah.
But you pointed out the difference between the speed in which Maxey plays and then Brunson plays, and you can see it. It's a little bit more evident.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of easier to see when a guy is just like jockeying around and gets bumped than it is when a guy's going 1,000 miles an hour. You brought up earlier in the show, Aim, about how Tyrese Maxey, the game gets over. He has 46 points. He wins you a huge playoff game. He does it on the national spotlight in Madison Square Garden. And he gives credit to a guy that didn't even get off the bench last night. So let's hear what Tyrese Maxey had to say about Buddy Hield.
I just missed those 3 free throws, man. I'm going to give a quick shout out to Buddy Hield because I was on the bench and I was really upset. I was really upset with myself. I missed 3 free throws, turned the ball over, and Buddy Hield just kind of grabbed me and said, listen, dude, like, you know what you can do. Go out there and make up for it. And I really do appreciate Buddy for that, man. I know it's going to go unnoticed, but it was big time for him.
You know, the little piece
is incredible,
isn't it? And do you remember? Might have been a week or so ago. He talked about not only Buddy Hield, but he talked about Pat Beverly. He talked about P.J. Tucker.
He talked about
James Harden and all that he's absorbed from them. That's such a sign of maturity to me.
And I think he's a guy that people look at. He is such a sponge, and they want to help him. James Harden talked about that. Pat Bev talked about that. These guys look at him. He is a gym rat. He wants to learn as much as he can because he wants to be the best that he can. And it's for a guy, no matter how salty you are, if you're a James Harden or whatever, those guys can tend to be a little bit gruff and a little bit salty. And
Yeah.
they've had comments from teammates and maybe they aren't the best. They welcomed that. They liked that. And they were happy to help him. James Harden helped him learn the little step back three that James Harden has perfected over the years. And I think that that's something to be said. I think that if you talk to any of those players that he named, whether it's PJ Tucker, James Harden, or Pat Bev, they would have something positive to say. James Harden did have something positive to say this season. After everything that went down between the Sixers, he still was very positive. Well, I think about the Sixers as a whole. We all know where his beef may or may not have, where it was lying and whether it was founded or not. That's neither here nor there. But I think he spoke positively because of how the Sixers players came to him.
Right.
Including Tyrese Maxey, especially probably Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah, so Tyrese Maxey is the headline from last night. A lot of subheads, but he is the headline last night. And his coach, well, he had some good things to say about him, too, in Nick Nurse. Here it is.
Well, I think considering that our number one option was struggling, right, for him to kind of say, all right, I gotta put this team on my back and go, and just kept encouraging him, like, to take his chances, take his shots, make plays, and he certainly did it, and he got in a rhythm and made a whole bunch of them.
Yes, he did. He certainly made a whole bunch of them, and it was one of the most spectacular things I've seen. And as I said this morning, well, since Game 2, that wasn't spectacular if you're a Sixers fan, but just a wild ending, and the wild ending that they had last night. One of the things that I don't think we've touched on enough, we can't forget that Kelly Oubre missed shoot-around yesterday morning because he wasn't feeling well.
Right.
Kelly Oubre had to play a lot of minutes last night because the game went into overtime. Your bench isn't really geared up to what maybe you want it to be. He put in a tough 39 minutes last night, and Nick Nurse talked about it, how much he may have been hurting.
He did okay. He was really struggling, laboring through some moments out there, as you guys probably saw. But when he finally got off the floor, he said, just give me a few minutes and I'll be ready to go back. So it was good. I mean, he worked hard, and I don't think he feels great.
I think the play he was talking about there, was that the two-handed push that came from, what's his face, Mitchell Robinson?
Yes.
Like,
and it was a full-on. They were that was
right in the gut.
It was a push.
Which, if you're not feeling good, you probably have a little bit of bubble guts.
I thought, the first thing I thought of when I saw it was like, ridiculous. That's clearly a push. But also that he didn't fly across. Like, a lot of guys would be overly demonstrative and really make sure you saw them fly. One, Kelly Oubre is very strong because that's a big man pushing you. Naturally, you're going to and he didn't. But I loved his face when he was getting up. He was smiling. He loves that stuff. It almost activated him even more. So if you're not feeling well and something like that could go wrong for you, he's channeled that into something that really I thought was positive, because he just looked up at him, had that big smile on his face, and thought, oh, you want to poke the bear? Okay, let's poke the bear. Do that again.
Yeah, that might not have been the smartest thing. Go ahead.
He was hysterical post-game.
Honestly, he's one of the best post-game interviews across the board in the league. Just him and Campaign, tremendous post-game sound. Tremendous.
And I felt like dog water, but even dogs drink it.
Yes, that's a great line.
Wonderful line. And then admits I didn't take any medicine. Probably should have done that, because Maxey a week ago when he was sick here took medicine, and you see the series that he's had. What are you doing?
It's so
Take
great.
the medicine, man.
No.
Yeah, I don't get that.
He likes to say he keeps it swaggy. That's his favorite thing.
Be swaggy with the medicine, man.
Yeah, I think
19.
I think I'd have been all over that medicine. Yeah,
it's just funny for him. The dog water line, and then admitting, I'm not a medicine guy on that one.
No.
But I probably should have been.
I'm not a medicine guy. I don't like taking medicine.
No, I don't.
Sometimes if I had this, sometimes I'll take it if I have to, if there's pain. But sickness, I don't know why. I don't take medicine. You don't either.
No, I'm not a medicine person.
Could we be any more? Are you sure? Could you either? I'm a girl and you're a guy.
Both.
The more and more we keep working together, I feel like we're exactly
if I have
alike.
a really bad headache, I might take a little bit of Advil or something, like a pain reliever.
Yeah.
But no, I remember even after you're having things that they give you, those big like the big pills. Like, oh, you need like something really heavy. I
Right.
don't that.
No, I get nervous
Not
with
a
that
big fan.
stuff. Yeah.
I don't like the way I feel.
Right. Yeah.
I don't need it to temper me down.
No, you do not.
Right?
No.
I need to be like I'm at 10.
You need to be at peak level all the time.
Constantly.
I imagine you wake up like that.
Well, you
Peak
have to.
level, go downstairs, pour the cereal, make the sausage.
Well, in my household, you have to be at peak level when you have a 9-year-old that wants to find out exactly what happened. He watched the game, but then he wants to talk about it as well. So
Yeah.
it starts from the jump. Like, let's talk about it. Let's talk about Johan Rojas. Shall we, Shawnee? Let's do it.
Forget the motherly duties of, like, hey, be polite and stuff like that. No,
Oh, he is.
Amy has to be on her game so she can talk
You do.
Sixers to her
Luckily,
9-year-old.
He's the most polite child, so he's very good in that regard. We don't have anything to worry about. Yeah, but he wants to know exactly what happened.
And
So
he's right.
talk
We
about
should talk about Johan Rojas.
Right, that's what he wanted to do. He's like, all right, he saw the Sixers. He was excited about that. Watch a little post game before he went to bed. Gets up and is like, Casti and Rojas, Mom. Like, yep,
Go ahead.
Let's watch
You want
it.
to talk about Johan Rojas? Go ahead,
It
Ray.
was just a beautiful thing. And it was a true thought that I had last night of what was more unlikely for you. Whether it was going to be more unlikely you saw what you saw at the Sixers game or a ninth inning where Castellanos and Rojas were the guys that hit the home runs to put you ahead. It was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful night for us last night. I'm so happy for Rojas.
That Phillies game was the perfect calming down influence that I needed after that Sixers game.
You were calm? I'll be honest, I was pretty upset over the Marte ridiculousness.
The Trey
Turner not being able to
yeah.
field.
Yeah, I texted. Didn't I text you right around then?
Yeah.
About
Yeah, we had
something
that.
I forget. Yeah. Oh, yeah, all of us weren't on that. But no, I got calm pretty
It wasn't
quick.
calming. I think it was like soothing. I don't. It was like, yes, this thing, we're allowed to have nice things.
Yeah, and
It was like
watching
we're
a
being
baseball
rewarded.
game.
It was
Yeah,
nice. You got rewarded. for
watching a
staying up.
baseball game when the team is playing well, like the Phillies are, after that rough and tumble Sixers game, it was just to me, it was nice and it was
It
perfect.
was a good way to close out. It was a nice dessert or an Irish coffee, as you
That's
said.
exactly it, Aim.
Sure
That's
was.
just what I was going to say. All right, when we get back, I have a question for Amy. A lot of guys played a lot of minutes last night. Kelly Oubre played with some bubble guts. Joel Embiid's hurting a little bit. Tobias Harris went 49 minutes. Tyrese Maxey went 52 minutes. Could something be a little bit different tomorrow night as the Sixers take the court at 9 o'clock against not New York. Sixers take on the Knicks tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, Wells Fargo Center. I just have one final question for Amy. We appreciate you joining us here on the Midday Show today, as Amy Fadul is here all day. Bob Cooney here on 97.5, The Fanatic. Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic.
I love when Ty comes in.
I think Ty comes in with like 30 seconds to go just to
Always.
press the button a little bit. Yeah.
It's good stuff, though.
Oh, it's excellent
He has a great
stuff.
topic coming up, too. Great topic.
He does. It's really good. Make sure you stay tuned. Now, I might have messed up a little earlier. I don't know. Like things always change around here. So, best show ever is coming up at 2. That I didn't mess up, Aim.
Nope.
Tyrone will be hosting. I didn't mess that one up either. Bill Colarulo will be here. Yep. He's on with them also. Jen Scordo, of course, the beautiful Jen Scordo, will be on also. Ricky Botalico, he's also going to be on the show for a little while.
So Bobo's going to come on. So it's a 4 o'clock Phillies game, so they have a 3:30 pre, so I guess he's going to be on for an hour
Yeah,
and a half.
Bobo's going to be on. Is that your affectionate name for him, Bobo?
No, that's what Dutchie used to call him.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Bobo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Bobo's going to be on until 3:15 or so.
There you go.
And then he's got other duties going on. Hey, I wanted to give a shout out today because we have a retirement here at the station, and there's some weepy eyes about it. So we have a production guru, is what I call her, and that's Rhonda Hibbler, who has been here forever, was just inducted into the Radio Hall of Fame about back in October, I believe it was, somewhere around there. But Rhonda is retiring. Rhonda has the little inside information here for people who don't know, which is all of you. Rhonda has a studio right next to ours. And in her studio, she, like when I first got hired, she, Cooney, this is how she, Cooney, I need a picture of you. And I'm like, okay, I don't have pictures of myself on me. Well, stand here. Boom. She takes a picture of me with her phone, makes all these copies, and puts 97.5 The Fanatic on it and all like I'm giving out autographs. I don't know, whatever.
It's your headshot.
And she's like, now sign this. So I sign it for Miss Rhonda, and, I love you. You're the best, whatever, Bob Cooney. Puts it up on her wall. Boom. She has pictures of all of us up on her wall. She has pictures of herself and Will Chamberlain. She's got awards. She's got bobbleheads, bats, balls. Like she came out the other day with just bucket full. She goes, here, I know you kids like to play, meaning all of us.
Yes, exactly.
And she's got tons of tennis balls and golf balls and bats and all these things cleaning out her office. So we are going to miss Miss Rhonda terribly. So our biggest hope, and she is a tequila woman.
Yes, I've heard.
Yes, likes her
and maybe
tequila.
smelled.
And so that was mine and Rhonda's little thing. Miss Rhonda, on Friday when I would leave, I'd say, not too much tequila this weekend. And she would say, I can't promise you that. And then I would come in on Monday and I go, how much did you have? And she goes, just enough.
Just enough.
So,
that's a good answer.
Yeah, so Miss Rhonda, we're going to miss you terribly. Good luck in everything that you do. And I hope to God she is not a stranger. And I hope to God I never do a shot of tequila with her again. Anyway, the question I had for you, Aim, that I wanted to ask you. Yeah, all the things that I laid out before we went to break. You had so many minutes played by a Tobias Harris last night, by a Tyrese Maxey last night. Joel Embiid is a little bit wobbly. We all know that, and went 48 minutes last night.
Yeah.
Do you do that thing that a lot of people like on our YouTube channel and some of the people that called have been asking for, and that is... All right, I got to give Jaden Springer a 3-minute run here. I'm going to have to dip into Ricky Council a little bit.
I hope
you
it's
know
not
what, buddy?
Jaden Springer since he's with the Celtics.
I didn't mean Jaden Springer. Oh, my gosh. Ricky Council, I'm sorry. KJ Martin. Somebody had just tweeted me, that a little bit ago that they never should have gotten rid of him. I don't know why it comes to that, but Amy's sinking down into her body again.
Come on.
I don't know. Is it a brush off Mo Bamba? Hey.
No, that's reactionary.
Okay. But what
I get it because you think you stole a game, right? You feel like you had a game and then you gave it away and then you snatched it back.
But legs are going to be a reality tomorrow night.
They are. I don't mind. Okay, so we're watching all together, and you and I talked about this. And Ricky Council was a name that came up because he is a big energy guy, and he could be a guy that spells out there. There was 4 minutes from Paul Reed. Does he get those 4 minutes? Paul Reed, an ineffective 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So Ricky Council. His effectiveness is not going to be shown in the stat sheet. His ineffectiveness is also not going to be shown on the court. He does have a job out there. I think that could be a thing. There was a lot of love for Mo Bamba. I don't see it. I don't think Mo Bamba has a role in the capacity of playing alongside Joel Embiid right now.
No,
I
no.
think that was like a knee-jerk, we're panicking type of thing. D'Anthony Melton also did not play. That might be the only thing that I thought about.
Yeah, I brought up yesterday a chance that, like, is there some time?
That might be the only one.
Yeah, where you throw him out there, just, save some legs, tell him to go play defense on a Jalen Brunson,
Lowry
something like
didn't
that.
play that much.
No, he didn't. 26 minutes last night.
Compared
And Dee had a great observation. She said, look, Bob, sorry, DeAnthony Melton sucked on Sunday. In the 8 minutes he was in there, he couldn't move. And it's nothing against DeAnthony Melton. He's been battling injury all year long and hasn't played. I wonder if there is something. Now, look, the Knicks are going to be tired, too. As Tom McGinnis pointed out to us earlier in the show, there was a lot of Knicks players who had a 5 after their name as far as minutes played. That means 50-plus minutes. Josh Hart went all 53.
He loves that. That's what he does.
That's what he does. Like, he's out there. He could probably played another 53 last night if he asked him to do it. So I don't know. I don't know if Nick Nurse will look to play in the if he's going to look to go to that bench, maybe just a little more than he thought.
I wouldn't do anything drastic. One or
No?
two little tweaks. You had that game 1. Look at game 2. Why are we deviating? These are very close games for a reason.
I agree with you. Hey, Amy, you know what I want to tell you?
How much you love the 1 o'clock hour?
It was so much fun because it was brought to us by Ferguson HVAC Lyon Conklin. Attention HVAC contractors for equipment, parts, and supplies for everything heating and cooling job. Visit one of Ferguson's counter locations in Bensalem, King of Prussia, Pennsauken, or Westchester. What a great 1 o'clock hour that was.
One of the best.
Yes. So just a reminder, tomorrow night we will be doing pregame down at the Wells Fargo Center from 6 to 9 o'clock. Long pregame show tomorrow night.
There's a lot to talk about.
It's going to be myself. It's going to be Dee Lynham. It's going to be Pat Egan. Also, we're going to have some special guests lined up to come say hello. No one more special than the person sitting to my left.
I will be stopping by.
Amy's going to stop by hopefully around 6:30. We're going to pluck some other people to come over and say hello also. Thanks for joining us today. Get ready for the best show ever. Amy, you are the greatest. Thank you so much for a great
fun.
3 days. And we will talk to you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Oh, I'm reading the clock wrong, Aim. I have a whole nother minute. I thought it said 54:06, and I was right there. It did say it. You lied.
Well, no, he changed it.
No, it said 1:54:52, and then it said 1:55:04.
No.
So that was 10 more seconds you were going to have to do in about 10 seconds. But I can keep filibustering here for you. I think you guys did do a great 1 o'clock hour. I enjoyed a lot of what happened in there. This was a really fun show for us to do.
Oh, my gosh.
I love the reaction
I'm not talking
that we got.
until 55:06. You better keep going.
That's fine. That works for me. This has been some good reactions today. I think we should go back to the text line, which you can chime in. The best show ever coming up at 2 o'clock. They're going to go there, 610-632-0975. We got a lot of people excited. Ben and Wildwood wanted to check in just about how much fun it was to find out they won after he had tuned out, gone to the Phillies, and then Googled the score later just to be upset again. Found out that they were fine and they had won. A lot of people living that way today, and it's been cool to go live through everyone else's experiences with that game. But
Thanks
that's all
for
the
joining
time we
us,
have for
everybody.
sharing
We'll
that.
talk to you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Stay tuned for the best show ever.